Welcome everybody to a very special episode of the Gaxx Pack. This actually isn't really an episode of the Gaxx Pack, but we had a lot of people that had other commitments today. But rather than be dark, we decided to have a one shot. But first of all, let me tell you a little bit before we get started and before I throw it over to Eric, because Eric is going to be our DM today. I wanted to tell you about GaryCon, and basically, GaryCon is an annual game convention celebrating the life and works of Gary Kahn, the father of role-playing games, and where he loved for people to play games, and there's nothing else that he would rather do than have us play the game that he co-created, Dungeons and Dragons. So today we sort of have half the Gaxx pack here, and that is Adriana Cazador and Eric Campbell and me. I'm normally the dungeon master of the Gaxx pack, but today Eric Campbell is going to be our dungeon master, and we have a special guest, Sam Delev. And just want to thank our sponsor of today's episode, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. Okay. Also, we're having a lot of tech issues, so I'm a little frazzled. I think we all are, but we'll calm down soon. And I'm looking at my Skype right now, and we look really, I don't know what's going on. So
like an ancient concert.
I don't know what's happening right now. But anyway, whoever did that, I am mad at you right now, for real. But they can't see it, but I can see it. It looks like I don't know what's happening. All right, we're in like some amphitheater in the forest.
I'm not seeing what you're seeing. What the heck?
I don't know what I'm seeing. Or you guys don't see this?
I see it. We're in like an amphitheater.
So we're using Skype, so there is a together mode where it kind of puts us all into like where we view each other in like one space. Maybe if you accidentally clicked on together mode, you're seeing that.
I guess I did because it's freaking me out. All right, going back to
I want some digital distance mode.
All right.
This is not up to health code right now. 6 feet, people.
Yeah. And anyway, all right, Eric Campbell, tell us what's happening. Let's do this. Let's play a game. Let's play.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I just want to thank Luke for giving me a shot at running a game here on his channel. This has been a lot of fun, and I get to finally run a game for Jason Charles Miller, who I've been wanting to run a game for a while now. When was the last time I ran a game for you, Jason? Was that Star Trek? I think that was Shield of Tomorrow, wasn't it?
It was Shield of Tomorrow. Because we've been players in other games together.
Uh-huh.
No, wait. Yeah. Did you run No. After Shield of Tomorrow, I think that we did a Pathfinder game at one point.
Oh, yeah, we may have. Yeah, we may have done that. It's hard to say. But this, I can say, I had to dig deep, and I found out that this will be the first time that I've run Dungeons & Dragons since I did the Tal'Dorei benefit one-shot on Geek and Sundry like 3 years ago, where I got to sit at the table. And let me just tell you, Mercer is a spoiled kid. That table is amazing, and he knows he's spoiled. That table is amazing. But yeah, it's been a while since I've run Dungeons & Dragons. I've been wanting to get back into it for ages. It's the game that got me up and going. And of course, with the latest announcement and all the exciting stuff that's coming out about Ravenloft, that was the setting that I loved. It was Ravenloft and Dragonlance were always neck and neck for me in settings. So then, of course, when I found out that B-Dave was running Black Die Society, which you guys should totally check out, I was like, oh man, I got to get a piece of that Ravenloft action. So when I found out half the Gaxx pack was missing, I basically started kind of making like the glassy anime eyes at Jason, and I was like, can I run a Ravenloft one shot? And so Jason relented, and here we are this evening, and I'll be running this one shot adventure for us. So a big thank you to everybody for showing up tonight and for letting me have the GM's chair for the evening.
Yeah.
Before we start, why don't we do the old classic, just go around the table, tell us your character name and what you're playing. And we'll start with you, Jason.
Yeah, let's start with me because we just lost Adriana. Hopefully she'll be back shortly.
Okay.
Boy, this is it's par for the course. Expect this. This is
we're in
Ravenloft,
so there will be dropouts. Yeah, there will be people get swallowed by the mist from time to time. So
this is what's going to happen all night. I can already
you at least hear me?
I can hear you.
from the mist.
What happened? But of course, now we're up. Half of me. Oh, yeah. We can hear you.
Come on, baby.
Come on, camera.
Hello, camera. Are you all right? Well, y'all introduce yourselves while I try to figure this
Go
thing
ahead,
out.
Jason. Tell us.
All right.
Who
Okay.
you're playing and what
So
you're playing.
I'm playing a character that I played once before in a private game that Todd Stashwick ran like a year ago at the beginning of. Hey, I can see. Oh, you were there for 1 second. I saw your chair. Todd Stashwick ran it, and it was sort of early lockdown days. And I created this character named Sir Glormagill, who is a paladin, a high elf paladin, which is sort of a mishmash of like all the snobbiest Tolkien high elves all in one. So expect a lot of snootiness from this guy.
Okay.
And
Snootiness will be expected.
yeah.
Sam Delev, why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing?
Hi, I am Sam Delev, and where Eric GMs, I elbow my way violently. No, I'm very, very thankful to the Gaxx Pack for letting me come in as a guest for the day, and I will be playing Emmeline, your friendly local wood witch, very probably friendly. I guess we'll find out. They are our human druid. And, well, let's see what we can do with these dark lands, shall we?
Yes, indeed. And Adriosa, are you going to be available to us right now?
Hello. Can y'all
Hi.
still hear me?
We
Yes.
can hear you.
Hi. So talking about myself time now, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yes, hello. My name is Adriana Cazador. You can find me online as Adriosa. You can't see me, but at least you can hear me. I am going to be playing a noble-born rogue human named Anita de Lucaria. And it's going to be great. She's very not nice and doesn't want to be here. She wants to go back to her old life.
Excellent. Yes, and that's probably
Back to her old life where her camera worked. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah, preferably.
No, this is just a rogue thing. It's just stealth.
Yeah.
Yes.
You stealthed so hard you left the show.
I stealthed really badly.
You stealthed right off the damn show.
God.
Well, while Adriosa struggles with that, I say we go ahead and kick the game off. Unless anybody has any reservations and wants to leave. No? Good. To Ravenloft then.
Yes.
Here is our intro. 6 months have passed since you all came to this strange place by strange means, torn from whatever lives you may have lived long before, and cast into the shadows of this hauntingly beautiful and deeply troubled land. You've since learned that your fate is not wholly unique. Other poor fools like yourself have also been taken by the mysterious and accursed mists that lift and live and adrift here. And like those unfortunate souls, you've had to come to terms with your new circumstances. Perhaps the three of you have been more fortunate than most, having found a temporary refuge in the employ of a man on the lookout for such castaways as yourselves. It's given you an opportunity to learn from fellow outsiders, learn what it is you are up against here in this realm called Lamordia. There's a place of dark secrets and terrible storms. Romantic green swept slopes of this ancient, vibrant countryside belie its true bestial nature. The winters are deadly, the summers are punishing, and while the people seem kind enough, they unnerve you with their insistence that all is well, when you have clearly seen that this is not so. Lamordia is an ancient realm with no history. The people here claim to be a proud people descended from a storied past, but none could tell you what that past actually is. It's as though the ancestors of the citizens of this place were dreamed to life and deposited here. But Lamordia is unique for other reasons as well. It is a realm that prides science and progress. The buildings are modern. The streets are clean and cobbled. And people live their lives as passionate and collected members of an advanced society. perhaps more advanced than any other to be found here in this extraordinary land. Each day, each of you awakens like a lost child, wondering if you're ever going to see home again. Wondering what gods you have angered or what trickster you tempted to send you to this place. And will you ever find your way home? Perhaps. These past few weeks, your melancholy has been challenged, finally. Rumor has reached you through the kindness of your employer that there is a mysterious woman in Barovia who may be able to help you. But Barovia is a dangerous land and many weeks' journey from here. You would never make it to your destination alive without the resources, and even so, there's no guarantee that the borders would be open to visitors. Never mind the dangerous trek through Falkovia. But you must try. It is why you've all accepted this contract that you're on now. The pay is your chance. You've all been in the service of the Lost Guard Mercenary Company, the brainchild of one Darius Shaw. Mr. Shaw is like you, a castaway from another land. Perhaps it was the endless march of time that wore away his resolve like seawater smashing into a rock, or perhaps he found a place for himself here. But here he has lived for some 30 years, and here he intends to stay. A retired mercenary, he gathers those willing who, like he, arrived at this place with no bearings, no knowledge, no fortune, no hope. He's been fair, if not stern, as well as sympathetic to your plight. Now he has presented you with this opportunity to catch a murderer. The pay would be more than enough to fund your expedition across the dangerous lands of Falkovia, and hopefully through the borders of Barovia. You've traveled north around the mighty spines of the sleeping beast, the name for the mountains that stab towards the sky and whose titanic bladed peaks cast much of Lamortia into shadow when not slashing the landscape with dying orange rays of a setting sun. From Neufurchtenberg and across the snowy landscape of Lamortia's dangerous winters, you've arrived at your destination, Ludendorff. Here, an old employee of Mr. Shaw has become a leader of the community and has commissioned you all to investigate the death of one of the town's most upstanding citizens. And we begin with the three of you entering into this town amidst a chilling, biting cold wind that nips at your heels, the back of your neck, across the chapped tips of your ears. The blizzards that sweep through Lamortia are renowned and have been known to claim lives of travelers who brave this place. Thankfully, the trek from your destination to Ludendorff was without incident, if nothing else. And the blizzard storms have not been particularly violent this year. Still, the comfort of hearth and home, or at the very least hearth, is highly motivating as you arrive on the outskirts of Ludendorff. This is, as I described before, a modern-looking town. A large population, but less than a few thousand. When I say a modern-looking town, this, in all of the domain of dread, is one of the most advanced civilizations that you could encounter. For those of you out of character, typically in D&D 3.5, it was described Lamortians as having Renaissance-level technology, which means blunderbusses, breastplates, and that sort of like level of era tech. You'd see more rapiers than you would long swords at this period in history. However, we're doing something a little more fun, and I'm kicking it into gear a little bit. And instead of Renaissance, we're actually seeing more of an industrial look in Lamortia. As science has progressed, this has become more of a Victorian look. The buildings and the cobbled streets have been carved out to form flat roads now. And citizens are dressed in their petticoats and top hats, where it makes sense to do so. As I said, the snows are falling right now, and not everyone particularly feels like going out in their finest Sunday attire. But just so the audience knows, there's a few rules that I have personally kicked into place. And I did inform the group that this was going to be part of the game. First of all, yes, there are firearms in this world, and they are not simple flintlocks or blunderbusses. Black powder is advanced to the point that there are, in fact, pistols, as well as rifles. They're very rare. They do exist. We are also using the horror rules, the fear rules that are available in the GM's guide. We're also using the mass injury table. The massive damage rules are in effect, which means that if a player, if anyone, takes half of your max hit points from a single attack, a Constitution saving throw must be rolled, or you immediately drop to 0 from the trauma of sustaining massive damage from a single hit. The other thing that is in effect as well is you may all take 10 at any given point. If you don't feel like chancing a d20 roll, you have the option of taking 10 if you have a moment and you're not in a rush to do it. The last thing I should tell you, because we do have some magic users among us, Lemordia, you have all learned, is, for lack of a better way of describing it, a very atheistic realm. The people here do not believe in the gods. They believe in something called the Great Clockwork. They think that everything moves forward as it is intended. If this place was created by the gods, those gods are irrelevant now, as things are moving along at their intended rates. If you are casting any kind of magical spells, in the minds of the Lemordians, it's just something science hasn't been able to explain yet. This is unique to the domains of Ravenloft in that magic is usually feared or looked upon with superstition. It is rare, however. That has not changed. I am not implementing the old Ravenloft rules where magic will be outright failing, but I have let the players know that in Lemordia, if you're casting a spell, you have to make a con check for the spell to actually work here in this domain. The only exception is if the player describes the spell being cast. Meaning, if any of you get it into your head that you want to cast any kind of spell, I'm going to need you to take the GM's chair for a second and describe to me you pulling out your spell components and you summoning whatever magics that you have at your disposal. Giving me a description will permit you to cast magic without that penalty. Otherwise, you're relying on the dice. And in the case of one Sam DeLev, who's doing a lot of shape-shifting, if I remember correctly, all you'd have to do really is just give me descriptions on spells. Magical abilities like shape-shifting doesn't count. Has to be a spell.
Good, because if it needs the GM's chair, I mean, no magic.
I know. You hate GMing. So, with all that into effect, you lead your horses into Ludendorff. And you find yourselves among these tall buildings that surround you, multiple levels, 3 stories tall. Fine-looking buildings, but all sort of uniformed, not really individualistic in color. Sort of bland pastel colors, like dark yellows, some of the lighter pastel colors of like on the trim, but for the most part, this place looks pretty uniformed. And judging from the way it is kept, you have a pretty good impression that where you were from down south is sharing the same characteristics as Ludendorff here in the north. Lemordians like things to be neat and put together and clean and well kept and uniform. Not that D&D 3.5 was, guilty of really indulging in stereotypes. But yes, since this is a German flavored town, this is a very neat, well-kept, and orderly city town you have all entered into. And it's not difficult to find your destination as you're moving through the streets. There's not a lot of people out. It's late afternoon, so the sun is hanging a bit low in the sky, and it is creeping towards the peaks of the sleeping beast that is behind you. Majestic looking spines that are just racing up towards the sky. The center place that you are headed to, of course, is the mayor's home. And it is not located per se in the heart of the town, as is stereotypically presented in a lot of like medieval style villages, but rather there is a square where it looks like trade is conducted. And passing through this square, you find the largest manor here, belonging to the small council and the mayor himself. And I'm going to go ahead and just open it to you all now as you're trotting into town. It's very quiet. The only thing you're hearing at the moment, aside from the clomping of your horse's hooves against the cobbled stone, are the slight whispers of snowflakes drifting past you as you make your way forward.
What a quaint town.
I'm not convinced.
This is quaint to you. I've
Yeah.
never seen buildings this tall.
Well,
As y'all
Evelyn,
are speaking to each other, tell me what the old man who glances out from his window through the wavy fogged glass of his home, sees when the three of you pass by on your horses. Give me character descriptions, and we'll start with you, Sam.
He sees a grandparently figure, perhaps cast your Maggie Smiths and the like, chin length white hair, very sensibly tied back, a little thinning, and an eye patch over the eye from some long ago circumstance. And if the people of Ludendorff like things nice and neat and tidy, I suppose I might be a touch of a disappointment. I am very few of those things. I am not wearing the finest clothes, but I do have a few satchels with some herbs and pouches, and those are clearly visible. So, at least I'm aromatic, appealing to one sense, if not good sense.
All right, Jason.
You will see the most glorious high elf he has ever seen in his entire long life. The most glorious, ornate plate mail, giant wings coming up off the helm, but the most dour look upon the face of the elf, who clearly has overstayed his time here in this realm and now just lives in a state of regret and melancholy, but also is above everyone here.
All right. Adrios doesn't look. Adrios is like, really?
is that so? So Anita is a slender, long, dark hair, dressed in her finest, noble clothes that she could muster, and she's sort of looking around with a bit of disdain, not wanting to be in this realm. And she thinks that she is the one at the top, looking down at everybody. So her energy and Sir Glormagil, just kind of Glormagil, whatever. I don't know that family name. They're all beneath her.
And the old man watches you go by, noting this sort of power struggle between the two.
Quite
and
the pecking order we've created.
and the grandparently figure that's sort of in between them is just completely detached from the epic power struggle between these two characters. The three of you eventually find yourself moving through the main square, where you do see a couple of townsfolk. No one seems to react negatively to you, even though you are unusual visitors passing through. Nobody seems to pay you too much mind. You do occasionally get somebody walking by who is kind enough to tip their hat as they're walking by. But for the most part, you don't receive too much acknowledgement of your visitation here. Arriving at the mayor's mansion is a 3-story building with multiple fireplaces, with multiple columns of smoke coming out. Indeed, it looks quite homey and warm inside. Inviting, in fact. You do see a large rope for the bell out front that leads up a small, rather ancient-looking cracked set of stairs to the front door. The wood itself here, it's worth noting that one of the chief exports of Lamordia to Falkovia is, in fact, the craftsmanship of woodworking done here. It's extraordinary. And this house in particular shows the skill and aptitude of the Lemordian people. It is quite the lovely, deep, like oaks, like that rich browns, all expertly and smoothly carved into these almost pillared looking sides going up around the doors, expertly mixed in with the foundations of cobbled stone around the base. Stained glass windows adorn the front door, where this rope that is fraying slightly hangs waiting for you to ring it.
What a beautiful door. This woodwork is so intricate. I feel like looks like something one of our guest castles would have, you know?
Looks like something one of the guest castles of our guest castles would have.
Oh, is that so? I'm
Yes.
sure. Have to see it to believe it, as they say. Well, who's gonna ding the thing for us?
I don't do things like that.
Oh, I thought you might want to, Anita. It would be fun for you, wouldn't it?
To
Pull a
dirty
great
my...
big old bell and make a big sound.
No. My hands are too cold. They need to stay in these gloves. Somebody... How
Fine.
about you, Emmeline?
I've been known to get my hands dirty from time to time. That's what we of the fighting crew do. Fine, I grab the rope and pull it sharply.
Okay. Ding, ding, makes this loud chiming sound.
Looked pretty fun.
Perhaps.
A few moments pass when an elderly man answers the door, dressed in the typical servant attire, though dressed quite well for a servant. His skin is pale, gray hair that's pulled back behind him, and he has very kind, if not very discerning eyes, looking out from behind of what looks like a pair of bifocals. And he kind of regards all three of you for a moment. The surprise catching his face is easy to read when he sees these three unusual people standing at the doorstep. But his shoulders relax and says, "You are expected?"
Of course.
May I ask the nature of your call?
Dorian Shaw sent us. We are here to work with the former employee.
Ah, yes.
I believe
Yes.
he's rather important in this lovely little town. Apparently it's quaint.
Very.
Indeed. Well, please, do come in. The mayor has been expecting you. The door swings open as he takes a step back, revealing this great mannered hallway. As the three of you, by the way, there is a post out front for your horses. As the three of you make your way into the hallway, it is, of course, adorned with all of the accoutrement of a Gothic Victorian manor, complete with suits of armor in the hallways, family lineage. You can see that there is banners as well as insignia all over the walls. At the very end of the hallway, in a moment of what would probably be, I would say, you seem to catch him off guard as you see what looks like a middle-aged man who has sharp, handsome features. His white hair is a stark contrast against his black skin. You see he is dressed in the finest, looks like clothing of somebody of the stature of a public official, and matches immediately the description that you were given by Darius Shaw as you were dispatched to this place for the contract. He's passing through, looking at what looks like a piece of parchment to the hallway, just as the servant is approaching, pauses in the middle of the hallway and says, my lord, there is your intended visitors are here. The man looks from over the papers and says, "Good lord, are you the ones that Mr. Shaw sent?"
Who else would we be?
But I do fear I owe you an apology. I sent a raven ahead to try to stop your journey this far north at this time of year. The weather in Lamordia can be very difficult to predict, even at the end of summer. I didn't mean to cause you to have to travel through such wretched, wretched weather. Do come in, please. Theo, would you please fetch us some tea? Can I offer you any food?
What do you even have here?
Theo, bring us everything you find appropriate from the larder. Please come with me. We'll adjourn to my study, and I can tell you what the matter is, and you can warm your chilled bones. This way.
Please. The finest furs will do. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Oh.
He leads you into a large, what looks like office, befitting of somebody who holds the title of mayor. In here, you of course see a lot of coat of arms, lots of symbolism. Some of it doesn't make a lot of sense to you. But you do see the coat of arms of Baron Wilhelm von Ockbrecker, who is the Lord of Lamordia. The ruler, as it were, or at least the mortal ruler of Lamordia. Acknowledging the Baron's rule, but it's not uncommon knowledge that the Baron is sick and old and is not necessarily making a lot of the decisions anymore. That has fallen to his daughter. And to local officials like this man, who steps around and offers his place. He kind of widens his hands out in front of you, ushering you to the chairs. He says, please, have a seat, everyone, please. Make yourselves comfortable, and I'll have Theo bring us the food immediately. My name is Garen Vasil. I am the elected mayor by the small council, and I'm sort of temporary in this position until someone new can be elected. So our last mayor, unfortunately, caught sick and was taken from us a few months ago. Nothing related to our case, of course, but my being an outsider does not permit me to be a more permanent fixture in public politics, as it were. Which means I am able to use what I have at my disposal to think outside the box when matters like the one that you have been summoned here come up. Specifically, your coming here was not wanted by the small council. In truth, my summoning you here might be in defiance of the small council, but the matters at hand dictate that action needs to be taken, and I trust Mr. Shaw. Having served in his employ for many years, I know that the people that he employs can get the job done. And frankly, the townsfolk of Ludendorff don't think anything is wrong.
With the murder?
Yes, with the murder. The murder, of course, has been reported to me by yes, thank you, Leo, over here. You see this, the older man comes back in as Theo comes in holding a tray and starts setting it down, starts immediately setting out the plates. And as he does so, the mayor continues and says, there are two upstanding citizens that live here in Ludendorff, the son of a lord. The lord in question is a man named Heimfried Stein. He was a good man, fascinated by the sciences, and quite powerful in his influence, especially in the Baron's court, though it is worth noting that the Baron has not held court for some time. Still, Lord Helmfried was beloved by the people of Ludendorff. He died some few weeks ago under mysterious circumstances, and his son, Emil, has insisted that it was at the hands of someone on purpose. It was an intentional death, as it were. It was a murder.
Have you questioned the son thoroughly?
I don't want to get into the politics of the matter, but unfortunately, I've not been able to do an interview myself. I must do this rather quietly. As I said, the small council would prefer to think that nothing is wrong at all. But Mr. Emil and his husband, Aldrich, have both been very persistent. And as they are quite rich and influential. I have been forced to act. I am put in a very precarious position. So I will require the three of you and your talents to find out if there's any merit to this claim of murder. And if there is not, see it through and be on your way. You, of course, will be paid either way.
Why does the council not view a murder as something to be concerned about?
Well, Doctor, there is a doctor that works here. He is on the small council, and he insists that Lord Helmfried was a bit of a foolish man. You see, Helmfried was a chemist, or at least he fancied himself one, and he was prone to trying things on himself. On more than a few occasions, he had to be treated at the local doctor for various rather unfortunate digestive issues.
So is
The
it
best
of
of us
the
who
doctor's
hasn't misidentified a mushroom here and there.
You see, quirks an eyebrow and goes, "Indeed," but you can see written all over his face, Emmeline, definitely not him.
Is it the doctor's opinion that Lord Helmfried did this to himself, perhaps, or that he is just not... He won't be missed because of his foolish alchemical ways?
Well, that is the question.
I say we go and talk to the doctor first. I mean, that's the first step. Maybe somebody paid the doctor off.
It could be.
It could be.
I don't suppose the body of our poor, dearly departed Helmfried might be available for examination.
Well, it's possible that Mr. Immelstein, the son, would be willing to relinquish that authority over to you. He seems pretty persistent that his father was murdered and wants to get to the bottom of it. He might give you that permission. Either way, the body is currently laying at peace in the family crypt upon the hill, not far from here.
Understood.
It would be worth noting, the people of Lemordia are not deeply religious, as you may have found out, and it would not be considered an impertinence to ask if you could examine the body, if you feel it necessary to do so.
Duly noted. Good.
Disgusting.
You'll see if our examination merits an exhumation.
I only ask that you interview the two before you do that.
Oh, naturally.
Just head there immediately, then. No time to waste.
Just as the food plates are setting down in front of you, and he says, "Truly, if you wish to get underway immediately, you're of course welcome to do so. I would not begrudge you if you wish to warm yourself by the fire and perhaps put some food in your belly."
I'd like to mention that I requested the finest furs to warm up myself, and I still have not received.
You see,
you can wait 5 minutes, can't you?
No.
Mayor Vassal looks at you and just says, "Yes, well, I'm sure that upon the completion of your contract, furs can be presented to you."
Very well. Keep the food. I don't think I am hungry anymore.
Okay.
I grab a big piece of whatever chicken leg or I don't know, the big old piece and just.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Cheese cubes to
Leg.
go.
So, where to first? Who do we need to?
I think we should talk to the son first.
The son? I think we should talk to the doctor.
Let's
I
flip
mean-
for it then.
Ugh, crude. What family do you say you come from again? Flipping coins.
If you can imagine this, like the blurred camera angle of like the two of you arguing, and the camera kind of focuses in on the mayor who's watching this happen in front of him, quirks an eyebrow as you guys flip a coin over where you're going to start the investigation. Go ahead and I would say actually, why don't we do this, Adriana? Even, and Jason, your odds. I'm gonna roll a d10. Oh, you want to flip a coin?
Oh, I'll flip my
Joseph,
soul coin.
you want to flip a coin?
Soul
Do it.
coin, yeah.
Yeah, you want to do a
Alright.
soul coin?
Jason,
All
what
right,
do you
do
want? The
I'll
infernal
take
or
the skull. I'll take the skull.
You'll take the skull? All right, I'll take the infernal.
The whole
It's
trip it was like this.
That's me.
All right. But your character would lie about that. I know it.
She would have. She would have. Totally.
But you would, so I believe you. It's fine.
Okay, well, all right, well, seems as though we are going to see the doctor first.
Okay.
All right, off we go.
Moments later, you all find yourselves in the cold, cobbled streets of Ludendorff at sundown, moving towards where you've been told the doctor can be found. The doctor is a man named Dr. Marco Vladislav. You don't... Vladislav.
Dr. Ladista. By the way, just to break for 1 second, fate points are still in effect today, and it looks like we have one already. So for every 3,000 bits, we get a fate point. And Eric, you can kind of decide what we do with them today. Maybe a reroll. It's up to you.
Well, if I can be perfectly honest, I was expecting 4 players, and I did not change the difficulty of this adventure. So, because
Please
it's a
let it be
one-shot.
reroll.
It's a one-shot in Ravenloft. So, if you want to use fate points to call for rerolls, you can do that. We will not roll a D. We will not roll a D4. One fate point will give you 1 reroll. However, I will only allow 1 reroll once per action. So you only get 1 reroll per chance. You only get 1 shot per time you use it.
Yeah.
So you can't just keep rerolling the die.
That's a great policy.
Yeah. So yeah, if you don't want to, this is not no offense. I love you guys watching at home. My experience watching D&D audience members, it's 50-50. It could be exciting to watch a TPK. It'd be exciting to and it's also equally exciting to watch your heroes save the day. So I leave it to y'all with your fate point donations.
Don't let the poor sweet Grandpippa die. Come on.
I know y'all
Save her.
better
She's the
amp
only
up the
one.
charm.
My armor is too magnificent to be sundered in any way. Please keep the fate points coming.
Before we move forward, just let me give you a quick, if you want a tip, always give your character a cute animal. Almost guarantees you every single time. All right, so.
Oh, to give you more fate points?
to guarantee your survival. Yeah.
Or
all right.
become a cute animal like
Yeah,
Gecko.
exactly. So, moving through the streets of Ludendorff, you move into the merchant district where this doctor's office can be found. And it is an office that is easy to spot. It does have the insignia of the doctor, the red cross, as it were, out front, indicating that it is a place of healing. Of course, it's not the Red Cross that we know it here in our modern lives. Instead, it looks like what would probably be sort of an archaic amalgam of an ancient religious symbol indicating healing. It has been converted into sort of a modernized, accepted symbol here in Ludendorff as a place where you could go for healing. If anybody wants to roll a religion check, you certainly have the option here. Otherwise, you will all approach the door. It does not have a fancy rope to pull upon for a bell. It's knock at your pleasure.
Well,
Fine. I'll sully my gauntlets.
You sully your gauntlets on the door of the doctor's office. A few moments pass before the door comes swinging open, and you see what looks like a young woman who is in the middle of something active. She's somewhat out of breath. Also dressed collar down to her ankles in fine, gentle attire. She looks like she is dressed. My best description is if you can imagine Eva Green's character in Penny Dreadful, has that sort of like black dress going all the way down, quite well made for herself. But she's huffing as she answers the door. Very angular features and deep green eyes, auburn hair spilling across the side of her face in a bit of a mess, and she just goes, "Yes? Are you ill? Are you sick? You don't look wounded."
We are here to speak to Marco. Blood stuff.
And why?
We have an appointment right now, and I'm sorry. Did we interrupt something?
Yes, my father has taken it to himself to be sick for the day, so I am the doctor. But if you need to speak to my father, and if you can give me good enough reason to stir him from his rest.
We have questions regarding the murder of Lord Helmfried.
Come in, please. She steps aside.
Thank you. The biting cold was starting to kill my fingers.
I might have something for that. As she closes the door and says, "This way, please."
Very well.
You're all
haven't been able to find freeze rhyme anywhere.
Oh, well, I do have some in stock. Are you?
Oh,
If
you're
you-
clever.
If you wish to purchase anything, we do have things here for anybody who is interested in the skills of herbalism or medicine. Please just let me know.
We don't talk, but if you do need a second set of hands with your father, dear, be more than happy to take a look, see if I can help.
Oh, yes, I would take that. He doesn't let anybody touch him. You know, doctors and the way they are. Please come in. Have a seat. Have a seat. And she ushers you all into
odd
a
that
large room.
doctors don't trust other doctors? I always found that a little disturbing.
As do I. She kind of murmurs under her breath as she leads you into this large room where there is a long table at the center of the room next to the fireplace. It looks like it might function as both a meeting hall and a dining room at the same time. As you're led in, you hear her let out an exasperated sigh of relief as you see one of the doors to the back of the house is open. There is snow that is trod in here, that it's all over the floor, as well as muddy footprints. It looks like hoof prints. And she goes, "Oh, he found his way out," and he dashes over to it. You hear a pig outside as she slams the door closed and just, "Right, let me go get my father for you." And she moves out of the room for a moment. You're left in here with something that a lot of you probably are not used to seeing from the realms wherever you come from. There is a grandfather clock in here ticking away. And you do see it does have that cuckoo clockwork of just like somebody just, you can see this little bird sitting at the very top as it approaches the hour.
Quaint.
I think it's beautiful.
Beautiful, yeah, I guess. If you... From a different angle.
Gilding. I think it's lovely. Look at how much skill that would have taken.
And the door suddenly goes slamming open. As this old man comes in and stops. He is probably in his late 50s, quite thin, wearing just a vest and a button-up shirt that's been rolled up. He does look quite pale, as I said before, not in the sense of somebody who is aged, but probably more along the lines of someone who hasn't been feeling too well. Lost a little color in his face. And then as that door slams open, you see him start and goes, "Oh, there's still a draft in here. I apologize. So sorry. Closes the door. And almost in the distance, you can hear the chiming of fate as 2 fate points are donated to the group.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We're going to need them.
Woo!
Thank you.
So I'm going to write this down so I can keep track of it right in front of me. We have 2 fate points total. Is that correct? Okay, 2 fate points total. All right. The old man moves around the corner and he looks winded the moment he enters the room and he sits down and says, Yes, you hear about the murder. I'm so happy that the mayor finally reached out to someone. I understand he didn't have the small council's permission, but I feel that it was a good idea and endorse the idea of him hiring from somebody on the outside. Now, with regards to the Lord himself, I do believe that the nature of his death is somewhat suspicious. What occurs to me upon examining the body is that the compositions of which he drank, at least what I was able to identify in the vial, which he did drink on his own volition, I believe, is found on his persons, was in fact some kind of toxic ichor. The biggest problem, however, is that I wasn't able to take the vial with me, you see. When it was believed to have been a crime scene, I had to return the vial to the pocket itself and wait for the constable to arrive. But of course, things move so fast, and then there was some issue with the will. The body had to be taken immediately to the family crypt. Yes.
Classic.
Hmm.
Classic. Oh God.
So the vial went with the body to the crypt?
Yes, it was quite unfortunate, but I can tell you what I know, if it will be of any help. If you don't mind my saying, you don't look like the investigatory type. You look more like the people that get things done by way of, well, with that. And he points at your sword.
Yes.
Sir Glorgamel, he points right down at I'm sorry, how do you say your name? Glor McGill.
Glor McGill.
He points down at the blade that's resting at your side, the scabbard lightly touching the stone floor here in this meeting room. And he says, if I can be of any help, I absolutely will be. But yes, I'm afraid that's all I have to contribute at the moment.
What can you tell us about his son? And you said there was an issue with the will?
Oh, yes. Oh. You see, the Lord was a very peculiar man. He was very excited about science. He fancied himself a great mind, a great enthusiast, perhaps. I don't know that I would call the Lord Helmfried a great mind, but certainly beloved. He was a good friend for some time, but became rather obsessed with his science projects. I'm sorry, you were asking about the sun.
The son, yes.
Yes, well, the son was adhering to the will left behind by his father. Apparently, for whatever reason, Lord Helmfried Stein wished to be buried before the next full moon, and it just so happens the night he died was going to be the next full moon, so the funeral was rather sudden.
Did you not consider that request slightly odd?
Very odd, but what am I to do? We adhere to tradition here in Ludendorff. So, buried he was.
You're familiar with what the full moon may imply, are you not?
I know that there's a general belief that it raises the sexual desires of people, and sometimes it's also very good for hunting at night. I personally have never experienced either one of those urges.
What do you know of the malady of lycanthropy?
Lycanthropy? Oh, I did enjoy a good child's tale when I was younger.
I don't think his corpse would be hunting on the full moon, nor would his corpse be trying to increase its power of libido. It's a corpse!
Well, whatever. It should be located in the family crypt. And if you wish to know more about the corpse itself, I'm afraid you'll have to go speak to it.
Maybe we shall do that.
He kind of quirks a brow, wondering for a moment if you're being serious.
There are ways, you know.
I understand there are certain scientific ways in which one can cause the dead to move. Electrical currents, for example, or perhaps um, pinches of certain areas of the nervous system can cause a finger to twitch from time to time. What does this have to do with the Lord?
Doctor, you're unwell, you're weak. We shall leave you to your rest.
Oh, very well. I'm sorry I could not be of more help, but if you do manage to secure the permission from Mr. Immel or his husband, would you please see to it that I get my hands on that vial? I would very much like to know the compound that the Lord was drinking.
You and me both.
Hmm.
So, Doctor, unless my compatriots here have something else to ask?
I think we've known quite enough here. We need to go to that crypt, get that vial. What do you think, Emmeline?
Oh, well, may I do a quick medicine check as a diagnostic of your boy? I'm looking to see if there's sweat on the brow for fever. What am I seeing?
Go ahead, roll a medicine check, and I'll say DC is 10.
All right. Medicine +6. Let's just not fungal this. 7. All right, cool. We make an 11. There we go.
Okay. You take a moment to examine him for a moment, and you get the impression that, I don't know if you were ever this person, Sam, but you know, sometimes in school where you just don't want to be in class, and so you just exaggerate how bad you're feeling just a little more than you normally would, so you don't have to go into work. If you didn't know any better, judging from this man, the way he's carrying himself, also by the energy in which he talks, but also by the appearance in which he looks, you might say he probably has a sour stomach.
He did get very excitable once he got interested on a topic and seemed to forget that he was...
Seemed to, yes. And as you're kind of examining him, it's a confirmation of your diagnosis as he stands up and goes, well, I should get back to bed. Mira, would you continue my duties here? I feel the weakness coming on me. And he, with very little ceremony or politeness, excuses himself from the room rather abruptly. And she watches him go with a side eye and says, yes, of course. Well, is there anything else?
Been taking over the shop much lately, dear?
Yes.
Why do you say it like that? Not your cup of tea?
I want to start my own medical practice.
Or whatever's keeping you.
I'm a dutiful daughter. He's an old fool, but he's my fool.
That's the kind of filial piety I can respect, certainly. I put a hand on her shoulder and I lean in very close.
Okay.
But he's a malingerer, and don't indulge him.
You see she gives you the warmest of smiles, and you see a little bit of light finally come back to her eyes since you've met this woman. And she nods and says, couldn't fool either one of you, eh? Well, perhaps this investigation does stand a chance of being solved after all.
That's the hope. I'm Emmeline. By the way, you are?
Mira.
Mira.
Mira
Oh,
Vladislav.
that's a lovely name.
Thank you.
Mira.
It was my grandmother's.
Oh, and now it's yours.
Lovely to meet you, Mira. I think we should be on our way again. Compatriots, or what did you say? Glor Miguel? What are you calling us now? Compatriots?
That's what I called you, my compatriots. That's right.
Well, let's
Companions,
make our way
companions in
over.
arms, fellow investigators, fellow people who are... The sooner we solve this murder, the sooner we can go home.
Oh, yes, I like that one the best. All right. Thank you for your services. Very unfortunate to hear about your father, Mira, but we're on our way now. So.
Okay. And with that, you all step back out into the cold streets. You've been in Ludendorff for a little over an hour now, we'll say, between going into town, having the meetings, eating a little bit, discussing with the mayor, moving in, having the interview with the doctor. It's been about 45 minutes to 50 minutes or so. And already you're starting to see that those sunbeams are disappearing behind the sleeping beast. Ludendorff, you can hear the chime, this great bell tower ringing in the distance, indicating that the sun is setting. Ding, ding. Doesn't seem to usher anybody indoors, but torches are being lit on the streets, and the snow falls at a rather steady pace. You do have the location of the sun, if you'd like to go there. And just to expedite things, we will say that there is really only one family crypt here at Ludendorff. So it was easy enough to get the location of that from the Vladislavs.
Would you like to go right to the crypt, or would you like to talk to the sun first?
Permission, like the good mayor said.
Oh, we need to ask for permission to speak to the sun or open this dusty crypt thing.
Open the crypt. But then again, in this realm, I've found it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. But you're probably correct.
A charmer like you, it will be easy to get permission, Clormagil. Come on, let's go.
Fine. All right, where's this person?
To expedite things, we're going to do a cinematic cut to the three of you sitting in front of these two men in a parlor, a very upstanding, rich parlor. Well lit with lots of lamplights and a large hearth with a huge fire roaring in the background, casting its warmth across this very large, Baronesque room. The two men that are sitting in front of you are the ones described. One, Mr. Emil Stein, and his husband, Aldrich Stein. They are both dressed as fine gentlemen. And both of them, in their resplendence of gentlemanly nature, have upon their face a look of confusion. Emil is a man with sort of like sandy brown hair, and you can see from the baby face that he has behind those green eyes of his that this is a person that has definitely grown up affluent. His partner, Aldrich, looks like he's probably maybe married quite well, did quite well for himself, marrying up, as it might say. But both of them share the same expression when Aldrich leans forward and says, "I'm sorry, did you say you wanted to dig up my father? Is that correct?"
Yes.
We're not going to dig him up per se, but there's an item of interest that it's all complicated. You do not need to worry yourself, sir.
You speak of the vial.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, there's something.
He puts his hand on his chest and looks over at his husband, and Aldrich leans forward and says, "That vial. We knew it was not supposed to stay on. It was important to the investigation. It was a mistake. It was my fault. No, it was my fault. No, it was my fault. It was my fault."
Well, whoever's fault it is, it doesn't matter. We just need to get our hands on that vial.
Yes, of course. Yes, I can give you the key to the family crypt. My father was only laid to rest about 6 days ago.
Excellent, then. We shall do it with the minimal amount of disruption to the body, and will not desecrate his grave or anything of that nature.
Do what is necessary. I think the investigatory work is a lot more important. If he was murdered, we should find the murderer and bring him to justice. The body is... Well, my father's not there anymore, is he? No, all that matters now is the family name. And if someone is causing us or intends the Steins harm, then I will see them brought to justice.
The doctor mentioned something about complications with the will.
Yes, my father had a very ridiculous view. He wasn't... I don't know how to say this without offending the memory of the dead, but my father... He fancied himself a scientist.
heard that, yes.
A chemist, in fact. But I don't know how to say this. And at that point, Aldrich leans forward and says, the man was not a scientist. He mixed together concoctions with fancy names and tried elixirs of all different kinds to try to transmute things and to learn the secrets of eternal youth and all of this nonsense. And he had a
to make
supply
good cocktails, at least.
What? No, of course not. He never drank.
Hmm.
Yes, my father wasn't much fun.
May I ask, what were the complications with the will, editing sorts of payments, or?
No, the will was merely stated that upon my father's death, that he was to be buried in the family crypt before the full moon. And it just so happens the night he died, it was the full moon. Okay. We had to bury him straight away.
Do you have any idea at all why he would put that in there? Such an odd request.
It's usually a money thing.
No, the full moon? Oh, yes, I see what you're saying.
My father was very particular. He believed, I can't believe I'm telling you this. My father was convinced that by giving himself low doses of, he had a herb that he drank. It was harmless. It was peppermint, if anything. And he drank it all the time. And he insisted that the day he died, it would turn his body into a flowering garden if he died before the full moon, if he was buried before the full moon.
Flowering garden?
Yes, my father was imaginative. He wasn't, as I said, he was not a scientist.
Well,
could I make an insight check?
Sure, go ahead. Difficulty is 8.
19.
He is telling the truth. And he seems to be completely exasperated and slightly embarrassed to be confessing this to you. The absurdity of what he is saying is not lost on him. And it shines through his expressions and the way he presents it. He seems more than anything like he is expecting to be judged by all three of you.
You know, I had a cousin who always said the same thing. It must be some kind of folklore that your father picked up. It's around. Certainly.
We all have those family members. It's fine. You don't have to be embarrassed.
Well, here is the key to the crypt. And if you're planning on going, I suggest you leave immediately as the sun is setting. And he hands you the key.
Well, before we head off, I do have to ask, if he's this alchemist who experimented on himself, what did raise your suspicions in the first place?
He had a supplier. A man that I didn't know at all. Never gave me his name. He would show up from time to time and supply my father with vials of concoctions that he insisted were, I don't know what my father called them, baselines or something, some sort of what you would use to, like a base mixture, I suppose, for the potions or the compounds that my father was believing he was making. I never met the man myself, but I did see him making deliveries from time to time. And the last time he made a delivery was just 2 nights before my father died.
Do you recall the supplier's name or where he came from?
No, my father was oddly protective of that. You see, I think my father truly wanted people to believe that he was a great chemist. I don't think he knew that I knew he was being supplied. I think he expected us all to believe that he was coming up with these concoctions himself.
I see.
All right.
Anything at all you can tell us about physical description? If he had some sort of wagon, just anything that you can...
He had a wagon. And he maybe, I say 5.5 feet tall, I suppose. Not dressed like a gentleman. Just like someone who is well-traveled. Lemordian from the looks of him. Had the attire. So perhaps local, I'm not sure.
Right.
Come to think of it, he had an odd hat on. It looked much like a sailor's hat.
A sailor's hat.
Yes, a tricorn, I believe they're called.
Are we anywhere near any ports of call?
In fact, Ludendorff is on the water.
Okay.
Ludendorff is one of the few last bastions of civilization before heading out into the Sea of Sorrows.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly a sailor, I see.
Obviously. Well, this sounds just right up your alley, Emmeline. These plants or whatever, I'm sure you'll be able to identify, right?
If they're there and they're made of plant, I can figure them out.
Okay, well, let's go open up this dusty, disgusting crypt to find the answers to this fascinating mystery.
And bring your family some peace. Elbow in the ribs.
Yeah, that too.
The ascent to the crypt, which lay upon a hill that overlooks Ludendorff, is quite the sightseeing tour. You're getting a good look at what this town looks like in the evening, and the small fires that are shining behind the wavy windows that can be found all throughout Ludendorff, but also the backdrop of the ocean. You can see along the coastline the Sea of Sorrows, the great coves and whatnot. This place is renowned for being a haven for pirates, by the way. Lemordia has what's called an island chain called the Finger, the largest one being the Isle of Agony, and it is known for having a place along the jagged coast called Baytown, which is a haven for pirates, but so too are a lot of the coves that can be found here on the coastlines north of Ludendorff. And you're getting a good look as you're approaching this crypt, as you're looking out over the wave-swept ocean, a silver path of a full moon carving its way down across the beach. In the distance, you can hear the hushed whisper of waves crashing against a shore. The family crypt itself is quite beautifully made. It is made of carved stone, but it is simple. It does not look ornate, and it does have the family names upon it. The stairwell that leads down is into a large, solid door made of heavy oak and has a keyhole.
Put the key in and see if it works.
You slide the key right into that keyhole, and the moment you do, Gormagil, the moment you slide that key in to that keyhole, you hear, and the door just swings slowly open.
Oh, so was that like it was already ajar?
You're pushing the key in, revealed the door was not closed. And the door swings in, this heavy oak door, revealing this blanket of darkness inside.
Stop, let's not go any further. Strange things are afoot here.
Okay.
Whatever heat is brought on by the sun in the middle of the afternoon, even during winter, clearly does not make it this far into the crypt. Because if you can imagine, a colder air gently roils out of the doorway towards all of you. Doesn't smell like anything but death. And for those of you who might want a different sensation, Emmeline, while they are smelling the cold scent of death, that sort of vague sense of rotting decay, just a hint of it upon this cold wind, you get a sense of this musty pinch of dust. Oldness. Old stone, maybe ash in the air.
Now tell me, if you believed that after your death your body would be a flowering garden, would you plant yourself down here underground away from all the sun in the world?
I suppose not.
Unless there was some sort of family tradition that he still clung to. But you're right. Seems unlikely.
Oh, this is disgusting. Who wants to go first? Or Glormagil, you said there's something going
There's
on in
something
there?
not right. This door was unlocked. Someone's been here. Did
Oh,
I search for look down for footprints or anything like that? Any sort of
Yeah.
sign of
Roll investigation. Tell me what you get.
I got a 2.
That sure is a ground.
Let me
Is
help
that
you
my
out.
eyes betray me? Anyone else perhaps see anything here?
Why am I not surprised? Well, let me try. Let me see what's going on here. Ugh, don't want to get my feet dirty. Were we mounted on our horses still, or there?
No,
No, y'all are off horses.
Okay.
Anita, you are human, so you're at a disadvantage right now because it is pitch black inside.
Oh,
I'm not a human. Though. I'm an elf. So
Yeah.
well,
So you got low light.
so roll at disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
Let me do it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
It's still what I got originally.
Was it really?
It's just a 5 for investigation, and I have no.
It's easy enough to see that this door has been opened already once because the dust has been disturbed at the bottom. But you don't see any obvious footprints or anything.
Ugh. Well, it smells gross. I don't see anything. The smell is just so overpowering. Ugh.
And the lock, it wasn't forced or anything.
Actually. Yes. As you take a quick look at the lock, without having to roll an investigation check, it doesn't take much to see that if you bend down and give it a good look, even from the moonlight being cast outside, you can tell that there are fresh scrape marks. It looks like it was wedged open from the outside.
grave robbers.
Someone who didn't have the key. If it had been Alteric or Emil, they could have gotten in here all on their own. Must be someone
Unless
outside
they
the
wanted to stage it and make it look like it wasn't them.
Oh, it adds up to me. They could have just not kicked up a fuss. No one else is kicking up a fuss. They kicked. And now there's fuss.
Hmm.
Let's take a look inside. Emmeline's going to start moving in, dear.
All right.
After you, Glor McGill.
Yeah, I'll go first. I have dark vision. Let me look in.
Oh, thank you. Can I just
Look.
take your elbow just a little bit?
Of course, yes, I will lead you in, but be behind me. Make sure if anything pops out, I'll take the brunt of it.
Glor McGill, as you move into this darkness, your low light vision begins to shift as the color begins to bleed away from the stones and the marble that you see in here, shifting into that grayish black and white, almost sepia tone of low light vision in the dark. You can see in here, the place is, as I said, it's simple, smooth stone carvings all over the place, but you can see that each individual generation of family members seems to have their own personal private slab in here, a place where you can open it up and pull a body out of. It is a crypt. There's nothing else in here. It is a single room.
Where is the sarcophagus?
You do see that there is what looks like at the very back a newly. It looks newer than the rest of the crypt. The sarcophagus itself looks newer than the rest of the crypt. You can tell from the stonework that it's made out of, without having to make an investigation check. It is slightly ajar.
Do either of you have light?
No.
It's in my pack.
I would like that if I were you. It looks as if the sarcophagus has been disturbed. We should all take a look.
Okay. Light, please. I can't see very well. And she's reluctantly like holding on to like a piece of Glor McGill's armor. Like she didn't ask. She just like kind of like was using him to guide her, and so, but she can't see anything.
I'll light a torch so I can also see things. Not seeing things at the moment either, but being brave for young Anita's sake.
Yeah, the torch ignites to life and illuminates the interior of this dreadfully dour place. And as the firelight plays across the walls, it's easy for you all to see that the top of the sarcophagus has been moved.
Father, I thought we were going to solve this murder sooner rather than later.
Emmeline, now that there's a torch in here, I'm going to ask you to make a perception check since you're holding the torch.
Love to, dear.
Tell me what you get.
9.
9?
But it's on a nat 1, so I don't know if you house roll.
I'm not big on the botching. I mostly just do failures.
Just want to be on, because, like, big fat modifier, itty bitty die roll.
It is worth noting nobody has spent any fate points yet.
True.
It's true. Though also, Grandpapa wants to live.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
Let's see what I can do.
For a battle.
Okay. You move into the area. You see the sarcophagus has been pushed slightly aside. When you hold up the torch, the inside of the sarcophagus is empty. There is nothing in there.
This is
Could I investigate?
Yes. You can roll another investigation check. You can take 10 if you have confidence in your investigation abilities.
I do not.
Then you can roll the die.
No bonuses, so.
Why don't I give you a little bit of guidance, dear?
Oh, that would be wonderful.
But now that you're in the interior.
Do I need to roll for cantrip as well, Eric? With the
yes.
spell rule?
Anytime you throw out magic, yeah. So when you cast guidance, how does that manifest?
It's absolutely a pat. And on the second pat, there's just a little bit of particle effect, it almost seems. A little bit of glow that could have been missed in the shadow light of the torch. But it's a 19 on the spell check. So we're good.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Awesome. Yeah, that'll go off quite easily. All right. So make your investigation check, and then you get to add a D4, I believe. Is that correct? Go ahead and roll it and tell me what you get.
Adding the D4. So I get a total of 13.
And did you add the D4 to that?
Yeah.
You did add the D4?
Yes, I did.
Okay, cool. No, that's okay. The DC was 10.
Okay.
Sir Knight, you do in fact see what looks like multiple footsteps in the dust around this sarcophagus. More than one person was in here. And judging from the way there's some drag marks, it looks like you're already starting to paint a picture of probably what happened here. It looks like a couple of people came inside and removed something from inside the sarcophagus and dragged it out the door.
If only we had a ranger, someone who could track these things, but alas, we do not.
Alas, you've never had anyone out in nature who knows how to track things.
Well,
right, you know how to, don't you?
Oh, how sweet of you to think of me.
Please illuminate give us your take on this.
Yes, Emmeline, please. It's not the best place to be having this conversation in.
Well, it's not like the corpse is going to come back to life. It's not here.
Well, we need to find where this corpse went and get out of here.
Then let's see how far we can get with the tracking in this weather. Especially before it gets dark. My eyes see even worse in the dark than yours. They're older, Anita dear.
Well, then let's get this over with, and maybe we can get back to our warm abode.
Okay.
Quarters.
The finest furs.
I miss those already.
One day you'll find them.
All right. If you're going to attempt to track, it's easy enough to follow these marks back to the entrance of the crypt now that you know what you're seeing, now that you know what you're looking for, thanks to the night. Once you get to the ground outside, however, that's when you're going to have to make the roll. So this is going to be a survival check.
I thought it might be. All right, we're running off of a +6 survival here.
Nice. That's right. This is your key stat, yeah? One of them. All right.
It's a druidy sort of thing. It's not just Grandpippa passive aggression.
Sure.
17.
Now that you know what you're looking for, the dug marks that you came across when you first entered, assuming that those were probably just caused by a funeral procession or something when this body was originally buried, you're starting to realize these are actually, yes, these are tracks. And you all watch as this elderly druid, Emmeline, kind of hunkers down and starts moving, following those tracks. And there's something almost animalistic to their movement suddenly as you begin to move forward, Evelyn. Emmeline, you follow these tracks down the hill towards the beach. It takes you a good maybe 30 to 45 minutes of just moving them down to the very base. You're now on the other side of Ludendorff. You've moved beyond the hills of the crypt and moved down to the beach area itself and headed towards one of the coves. You all, when you get down to the beach itself, you are aware of indentations in the sand where multiple people probably moved across the surf. Now, even though this probably happened some days ago, the snow has managed to capture some of the indentations thanks to a lot of the ice that you're also seeing here across the beach. You're seeing telltale signs of travel. Mostly it looks like something was dragged, and they weren't doing they weren't really trying too hard to cover up what they were doing. But again, yes, the cold weather has caused chunks of ice to continue to freeze here on the beach, and it looks like rather inadvertently, some of the indentations made by the footsteps across the sand probably filled up with water at some point and froze, even this far from the surf, depending on what high tide they were carrying the body out from. So you're actually able to see across the sand here indications of the direction that they were headed with that roll. This is how I'm rationalizing how you're able to, like, with that kind of a score, you're all watching rather impressed as Emmeline begins to track them across the beach. This is at least a 6-day-old trail.
But if marks are frozen, that kind of freezes them in time, doesn't it? At least it gives us a chance.
You don't say.
And a bit of a timeline, too, doesn't it? Where's the water right now? Because one could infer at least 2 times a day from at least how far out we see some of these tide marks freezing. When they might have done this drag.
For all the oddness that is this realm, it does seem to follow the same logic as high tide, low tide. And as the full moon is rising, the tide is actually quite high right now, as it's approaching closer to the midnight hour.
Does this stretch of beach look like a good place to, say, launch a boat from? Like, what do we see if we look around right now?
Okay, I'm going to call for perception checks. Everybody, as you continue to follow these tracks down the beach.
Ooh, 21.
Okay.
Ooh, 16.
16? Okay.
Dirty 20.
30. Okay. All of you are kind of getting y'all are getting in the groove now. You're on the trail, and you're also getting a sense of what Emmeline is onto. Your instinct is to start looking for any kind of place that they would have holed up or maybe even departed from, maybe launching a small boat from the beach or whatnot. But what you start to all three of you realize is the rocky caves that are lining the coast just about 600 feet in front of you might actually be an excellent spot for, say, somebody to stash things or to camp, possibly hide out. Doesn't look like it's particularly at this hour of the night. It doesn't look like it'd be very smart to launch a boat unless you were desperate, particularly at this temperature of the water. But yeah, you do see indications that these tracks continue to proceed towards what looks like a cove ahead of you.
Okay, Emmeline, lead the way. I see there's still tracks, but
Well, if I can follow them, and you're right behind me, Sir Glormagil. Yes, behind me.
I can go first if you like.
Oh no,
You want to just
certainly
point
I
out
could,
where
unless
you
you're
need to go.
volunteering, in which case, it's just that you're so, well, you're so brave. I'm just a local healer, and, well, I don't know exactly what you did before you ended up around here, but it seems like you're very brave and powerful.
Well, I'm not as good of a tracker as you, but I probably can handle myself if we encounter anything that needs handling. So I shall go first. Just point me on the right way with your superior tracking skills, and we shall make our way there together.
And Nita, watch our backs. You never know who's going to come up from behind you and bonk.
That's right.
all right. Good point. I'll be doing that. I'll take up the rear. I trust all you, so mostly.
Okay. The three of you continue to advance. Let me ask you this. Are you attempting to be stealthy?
In full plate mail.
You are at disadvantage.
I'm trying.
It's on my on my character sheet. Baked in. Disadvantage. Yeah, sure. I mean, let's try. Let's try to be stealthy.
Okay.
Well,
Go ahead and make your rolls.
do you think it's important, Anita?
What stealthing?
Yes.
I guess it's what I do. As much as I don't want to, but we need to, because it's dark and who knows what's gonna pop out and dirty us with their presences.
Very well then. Glormagil, show me the sole of your boots. And Emmeline's gonna start reaching into a packet and pulling something out of their satchel.
All right. I put my foot out tepidly.
Start slapping some powders on the sole of the boots. And I'm casting Pass Without Trace.
Nice.
Okay.
The powder's gonna dampen the sound.
Nice use of spell descriptor. I'll let that fly without having to roll. Pass Without Trace gives you all a +10 to your stealth. Y'all, the noise that you're all making as the magic begins to spread out underneath everyone's feet, everything from the sound of the sword scabbard clanking against the thigh plate on your side, Sir Glormagil, it all muffles and vanishes underneath the whispers of the waves that are crashing against the shore. It's as if everything around you, all the noise you're making, suddenly grows quiet. You can tap the breastplate of your armor and it doesn't make a sound. It's everything around you. Just the three of you just suddenly get the feel that you're almost predatorial now. As magic manifests in Ravenloft, slightly different than it does other places, you feel sort of this instinctive urge to hunt, almost, as this silence falls over you. Not so much as sort of to escape, but more like the sneaking up on these unaware people of giving you all a little bit of that sort of hunter feel as you're moving through the sand. You eventually round the corner of this cove. Without having you roll perception, it takes nothing to see the body that is slumped over one of the jagged rocks. Now, being adventurers, from wherever realms you've come from, you're used to seeing things like this. It's not unusual to see a corpse in the line of work that you do, but to see a corpse in this state causes you all to pause for a moment. The corpse looks like it has been carelessly tossed on top of a sharp rock. It's wearing what looks like maybe it was a button-up shirt of some kind, standard breeches, leather boots, maybe sailor's attire, The breeches look maybe they're made out of wool. But it looks like a rag doll has been dropped on top of this rock. More disturbing is the fact that its head has been turned into abstract art across the stone. And it has clearly become a feast for the crabs and seagulls. The state that it's in is enough to cause all of you to pause for a moment as you're seeing it. Whatever happened here, he died in an extraordinary moment of conflict.
This is not a good sign.
Why did we have to see this disgusting mess? What happened here?
Whatever happened here, we must double our efforts to be on the lookout now. This is either a warning to other people or someone was just slaughtered here and no one cares.
Was this recent? I think we should.
Yeah, can I make a medicine check on it and see how recent it was?
Medicine or investigate, well, both of those will work.
Okay.
May I as well?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I got a 19 on medicine.
Okay.
Nice.
Nicely done.
Thanks.
Emlyn, what'd you do?
What is even that modifier? That is a 27.
So,
Thank you.
as Anita hangs back and watches the two of you advance on this corpse that is smashed across this rock, the first instinct you all have is to look up to see where it could have fallen from. It would have had to have been thrown quite a distance from the top of the cliff to have made it out this far and land on this rock. So it's very unlikely that that's what happened. Looking at this, you examining the body, one of the things that stands out to you is one of his boots looks torn. And as you go over to examine it, it looks like it's torn, like the sole of it has been completely torn asunder, like pulled back, exposing the foot. The ankle looks like it's been completely crushed. And if you didn't know any better, you would see the indentations of what you both immediately guess is a hand. Something gripped his leg with incredible power. And you see this body looks like it, you're starting to picture this body being smashed against this rock, like someone taking a fish and beating it against the side of something hard to kill it after a catch.
Could it have
Anita
also
calls
have
over.
been dropped from a great height?
The blood would spatter a little differently, the angle of it. And variations of the
It was
mist.
just smashed right here.
All of you start hearing something. Everyone make a perception check. DC is 8. Tell me what you get.
17.
Oh no.
4. Just thinking about
Got it too.
Okay, Anita, you cannot pull your eyes away from the state of this dead body. It clearly was not the Lord, but whoever it was died terribly, violently. You're watching crabs fall out of the smashed remains of the skull. And it's one of those things where you just like, oh my God, you can't look away, but you don't want to remember this. You're too engrossed in what's happening. While Sir Glormiguel and Emlyn, both your heads turn, darting to the right as you start hearing the approach. It sounds like the quick press of sand. Someone is dashing towards you in the dark, and both of you spot him as you hear it. As you have made your perception check, you can see it coming. There is somebody flailing, roughly about 5'7", running towards you, and you can hear over the crashing of the waves the whimpering gasps as they're rushing all three of you from a distance.
Are they wearing a tricorn hat?
No. In fact,
Okay.
It doesn't look like they're wearing shoes. They have their hands completely thrown open, and they're making these pathetic whimpering sounds as they're dashing towards you.
Halt!
They do not slow the approach.
Are they attacking?
Does it? It
No,
literally looks
they
like
look
somebody.
they need help.
Looks like somebody waving, or like their arms are flopping or flailing around them as they're dashing towards you.
What do you need?
Unless you intend to stop him, he's going to run right up to you guys.
I'm gonna hold my shield in front of him in a defensive movement, but I'm not going to attack.
Anita stands behind Sir Glor McGill.
Okay. The creature that comes into your field of vision collides with your shield. It doesn't look like it's an attack. It feels like almost like a drunkard would if they just ran slamming into your shield desperately. And you get the impression immediately that whoever this is could not see well enough to see what you were doing, only aware that you are there. It is a pure chaotic moment. As this person approaches you and slams into the shield, the first thing you notice is that this person too is covered in blood. And you are able to make out a few of the whimpering, please, please, as he comes colliding into the shield, collapsing to the ground and immediately groping for whoever he just ran into. His face is a ruined. You cannot tell what exactly is wrong with him in this particular moment, but it looks like he is unable to sense who or where you are.
What's wrong? Anita takes a look at this person who crashed into the shield, and do I have to roll like insight or anything to see their state?
You don't, but you do have to make a wisdom saving throw upon seeing their state.
Oh no.
So it's a DC 10 wisdom saving throw.
Oh boy. Okay.
Actually, no, I'm sorry. This is actually charisma saving throw.
Charisma? Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh God, it's been a hot minute.
This is a charisma saving throw.
Nothing good ever comes from a charisma saving throw.
Tell me what you get.
DC what?
DC is 8.
Well, I got 12.
Okay, you beat it. You feel your chest tighten and you almost want to gasp in horror upon the sight of this poor man. His skull has been partially crushed. His eyes are hanging from his face, and it looks like it's been like this for some time. How he has survived in this state is unimaginable. His front teeth have been completely caved in. It looks like someone took the yardarm of a ship and smashed him across the head with it. That he is able to even form words is impossible to understand. But it is enough to cause you to gag when you see him. He's collapsed down to his knees and he's pleading with you. Before he returns, don't let him get me. Don't let him get me. It wasn't my fault. Just complete over and over, looping, desperation in his voice.
Evelyn, do you think there's any way you can help this person?
I can clean him up and I can see what I can do about that skull, but we're going to need to get him back to the Vladistavs to do something more extensive and fairly soon. May I at least do a medicine check and see what I can do in the here and now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Cool. Okay, 15.
15. Just looking at him, Emmeline, he is suffering from infection. It looks like his face has been pecked at. It looks like some of the wildlife has taken advantage of how helpless he has been, which indicates he's probably been out here for a little longer than you would think. You see the familiar markings of a hand on the right side of his head. Again, very similar to what you saw on the ankle. Emmeline, he is alive defies what you know of typical medicine. He must be running on pure adrenaline, and that is what is keeping him going right now.
How would you handle laying on hands in this situation?
If you can describe it and explain what it is, feeling the power of your deity's energy flowing through your hands, you won't have to make a roll to nullify that.
At that moment, Glormagil feels a sliver of compassion for this creature, and feels almost instinctually it overtakes him to lay hands on him. And on a technical aspect, if he spends 5 points, that would either cure disease or neutralize a poison. And I'm sure something along those lines, if that would.
Do you have the ability to remove effects? Like
just
vision
disease
impairments?
or poison.
Okay, that's fine. And you can heal hit points, yeah?
And hit points.
Okay. Yeah, I can flavor that. Go ahead and describe what happens when Sir Glormagel approaches and lays his hands upon this poor soul.
So he lays his hands upon him, and you see a bright yellow light sort of engulf the man momentarily, and he's no longer, hopefully, the vision in Glormagel's head is that he's no longer gibbering or going crazy, and he feels calm all of a sudden, and some of his wounds disappear.
Indeed, you all watch the miraculous power of divine magic flowing through the knight's hands. What deity does Sir Glormagel serve?
Torm.
Torm. So the holy symbol of Torm around your neck, or do you have an emblem?
Actually, it's on his armor.
His armor. Okay. Yeah. Curious enough, what does the emblem of Torm look like? Do you have it painted in traditional fashion, or do you have?
Yes, it fits in with his armor. So it's a gauntlet.
Yeah.
It's like a gauntlet here. Yeah. It matches the ornateness of his armor, but it certainly is there, and that's also on his shield.
For those of you who are seeing the gauntlet, it is worth noting the gauntlet of Torm has an eye in the center. And for those of you who are watching this miraculous healing effect, for a split second, you could swear you saw the eye blink on his armor as this golden light courses down, illuminating the veins underneath the skin as his healing energy flows into this poor man. It's enough that where you see the man's breath just and he leans back as you see miraculously that light begins to creep along the side of his face, and you see him close his mouth. And Emmeline, you watch in amazement as when he opens his mouth again, some of his teeth have begun to reform. You can see the skull begin to reform. It's not a complete healing. But you do see the infection that is so present from all of the exposure that the body has had to the elements as well as the animals begins to clear up. He puts his hands to his face and he goes, and as he pulls his hands back away, his eyes still heavily damaged, but back in his head. And you see him blinking. He goes, what's happening to me? What's happening to me? As you heal this man. He blinks and he says, bless you, whoever you are, bless you.
We are taking away your pain.
You must run. You must run. We must get away from here.
What are you running from? Who are you running from?
The creature. We did not know. We did not know.
What is this creature?
Lord Helmfried. And that is where we're going to pause for our break.
Okay.
Oh, the creature.
Oh boy.
Classic.
Oh no.
So we will be back in 10 minutes. Is that right? Or how long is our break going to be? 10 minutes?
10, 10's good. Yeah.
Take
That
10
sounds
minutes. Bathroom break. Everybody get freshed up. And when we come back, we will finish off the mystery that you have all begun to unravel.
Of the creature.
The games we play are the stories we create.
The fortress doors swing open.
Every story is unique.
And the sound of war drums rises.
Sometimes our stories come to us when we least expect them. We need to be ready no matter where inspiration strikes. And sometimes our stories are told over great distances. No matter where your journey leads you or how your story is told. The games we play are the stories we create. Sirenscape can help make yours epic.
Sirenscape is searchable, fast, and customizable from any device with no need to pre-install any sound. Adding epic atmosphere to your game has never been easier.
Something is out there. It's massive, dangerous, and untamed. Prepare to bravely face Wildlands.
Savage new wilderness gaming terrain by Dwarven Forge. Immerse your players in an epic gaming experience like no other. Launching August 9th.
Welcome back, everybody, and we are going to be jumping right back into our Ravenloft campaign that we got going on here. A mystery is underway. You guys have found this mysterious person on the beach. He's revealed himself as an incredibly injured individual, and clearly a part of the same group of people that probably stole the body. Looks like might be among the same people that is like probably this guy's buddy that's over here smashed upon the rocks. And things moving forward, let's do a little cinematic cut to all of us seated around this gentleman who is now on a rock drinking from a water skin, catching his breath. His eyes, of course, are going to require a lot more attention, but can be healed. It looks like right now, it looks like it's that image you get when like the whites of his eyes are completely filled with blood. It's a hard thing to look at, and it's clear by the way he's talking to all of you that he can't see you. However, gratitude in his tone as he's exhaling sharply and just going, whatever I did in my life, whatever sins I've ever committed, I've paid for them now. I've paid for them now. We've all paid for them now. And he just starts rocking back and forth as he clutches this water skin. It's unnatural. It shouldn't have happened this way. It shouldn't have happened this way.
Sir, you need to calm down.
He nods. I would say make a persuasion check. Anita, see if you can calm him down.
Okay. All right. Well, good thing I have a lot of persuasion.
Hey.
Oh, and I rolled a 2.
Okay.
Let's see what I get
Sir,
there. So
he's irritating you. You need to know what the fuck happened. Excuse me. You need to know what happened. And he is irritating the hell out of you as you are trying to figure out how to get him to chill out. He's rocking back and forth, just going, I've paid for it. You're at that point where like you're in the scene in Airplane where you just want to start smacking the person around. Like he's just filling you with irritation. And you can all see Anita on the edge.
Okay, all right. Well, I rolled an 8, by the way, so I'm pretty sure that, hopeless. No. He's somebody else, please. He
deserves your compassion.
Compassion, huh?
I look over his shoulder back where he was running from.
Okay.
If we can't get too much out of him, I just want to see what I can see, if there's anything out there, especially since he's so scared right now.
You can see what looks like the remains of maybe debris, wood, from about 200 to 300 feet away, scattered across a sandbar in front of a rocky cliffside. Maybe wood. It's hard to tell from here.
We need to get him settled and then go find the thing whereof he speaks, and I'll point the others toward what I see.
What? He reacts to that. He says, thing? What?
Nothing near here. You're safe. We want you to stay still and stay quiet and stay safe.
Definitely make a perception.
Can you do that for me?
I'm sorry, make a persuasion check.
Mm-hmm. When you have to go to the modifier, it's never good.
He's a really irritating guy. What was it, 9?
Yeah.
He
always
is
reroll.
He is beyond. He is currently beyond rationale, and Emmeline, you get the impression that he is on the verge of. This is a guy who, if he had the opportunity, if he was in a position where if he maybe felt like he was in danger again, if he was going to be encountering danger again, if you didn't have a good hold on him, he'd run straight into the ocean to get away from it and drown there. If it meant not encountering whatever it is that drove him to this. And he reacts like that. He just, thing? What?
All right, dear. You need this. Open your mouth. What's going to go in is going to have a little bit of a spice kick to it. I have herbalism kit proficiency. If this young, gentle person could maybe have a sedative.
All right. Yeah, you pull out.
Then whatever the creature is hopefully won't go after him. And
you pull out a
sit
gummy.
tight.
You slip him a gummy.
Wow, there's gummies in Ravenloft? Cool.
Gummies in Ravenloft. Hey, there's a reason why the mist pull everyone in. You guys gotta try these.
Mist, huh?
All right, you slide. He takes it. First of all, he eats it hungrily. Again, sort of illustrating that he probably hasn't had any nourishment in days now. So he takes it. Doesn't even bother. It's telling to you, Emmeline, because you know most people who actually take this raw without it being mixed into anything typically have sort of a sour reaction to it before they eat it. He scarfs it down, and you see him just kind of seems to calm for a bit.
You're going to stay here where it's safe. We're going to get you nice and camouflaged so nothing can find you, get some driftwood, and we are going to go and take care of it so you don't have to be scared anymore.
But you don't understand.
You don't.
He reaches his hands out to try to find you.
Hands?
You take his hands and he grips your hands tightly. He says, "You don't understand. You don't want to encounter him. He'll leave you alone.
But we have to.
You don't know what you're doing."
Then tell us. Please.
What is he?
Don't know. We were hired. We rob graves sometimes. Make decent money. People of Lemordia don't really notice too much. And it's how some of us have made our living. There's a man who constantly is paying us good money to steal bodies for him. We've worked for him off and on for, say, better part of 2 years now. Nothing too vicious, but we get to keep anything that the body has on it, riches and jewelry and whatnot. I know it's a wretched thing to do. I know. I don't tell you any of this without shame. But we figured it was no big deal. Let the man have his dark appetites, whatever he's doing. We don't need to know. Give him the bodies. We get to keep the monies and the jewelry. It's a good arrangement. We don't know nothing. And he comes to us a few weeks ago, pays one of my friends who has connections to the Lord, who's got some plans for him, something around the full moon, gives him some sort of vial or sedative or something. We're to wait for the burial before the full moon to take the body away, to bring it to the delivery point, give it to the man as he requests. We did our job, got our pay. We thought that was the end. And 2 days ago, I think. What's today?
Tuesday.
You tell him it's Tuesday. He just says, 3 days. 3 days, the smell. Not wanting to move. The pain in my head. Knowing that it's still out there. Knowing that it's still out there. You can smell him.
Where is he?
He came upon us quickly. At first I didn't know what it was. Hulking thing. Came at us out of the blue, but then I could see it was the Lord. It was the Lord, the body that he took. Except it wasn't, but it was. What did he say?
I just said Helmfried. Confirmed.
Helmfried. Oh, never forget the face. Twisted and snarling. Bloodshot eyes. Skin that looked like leather stretched over a skull. Bleeding from various places. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
As if this place couldn't get any worse.
The man who hired you, what can you tell us about him?
I don't know. Someone with money, someone wealthy. I never had direct contact with him myself. I mostly let Johannes deal with him. Johannes.
Is that your partner?
It was our leader. It was the first one. Shouted at everyone to get out. I got the impression that maybe Johannes knew what was going on, but it was too late. The creature took him and... Oh, God. He starts to look down for a second. You think he's going to be sick. He says, I saw him reach into Johannes. Like he was reaching into bread dough, fresh out of the oven. Just tore everything he found in his grip right out of him. Never seen anything like it in my life. Never seen anything like it in my life.
So for now, I just pet the guy's hair, help him
If his face was restored to functionality, he might be sobbing mess right now, but he's just sort of rocking as he's telling the story. The trauma is racked his body. He's mortified as he's reliving this, telling whatever it is that happened.
Anything else you remember that you can tell us? Any detail could help.
Yeah. Happened so fast. I tried to run. And the creature grabbed me with its hand. And that was the last thing I remember. I woke up, cold and dark, my face numb. Could barely speak. My teeth. It seems to occur to him suddenly. My teeth. I have my teeth back.
I just kind of run an arm on a Glor McGill, like, good lad. That was you.
Whatever sins I've committed, I've paid for them. I'll help any way I can. Any way to make amends.
If you can just take us to where you think he is, you won't have to go in or see him ever again.
I laid hidden in the cave, just over the direction I came from, I think. And he points off in a wild direction, not the direction he came from. And he says, I just stayed low, didn't move much. Every now and then I thought I could smell him coming back. I'd hear it moving. Big, just like I remember it. And then the animals, the gulls, they would all fly away. Or I'd get real still, stop breathing so he couldn't hear me. Stop breathing, stop everything. And then eventually leave again. Well, I don't know if he's still there, but I overheard your voices amongst the surf. Thought I was dreaming at first, but then I heard your kindly voice. And he nods to you, Emmeline, and says, and thought I'd take a chance.
You did the right thing. I look to the other two, and look over to the cave.
Yeah, the debris. You're starting to get an idea of what's happened here, Emmeline. You're starting to get an idea that's where he came from and whatever that he witnessed took place there. It also means that this thing might still be in the area.
Let's go.
Oh, is this still worth it at this point? A creature that just grabs people like dough and rips them apart like nothing. I mean, you saw that other body, this poor fellow's friend. What if we just leave?
Where are we going to go?
I do not want to get dirty again.
Well, you can stay in the back then.
Just bought this. Fine.
Oh, Anita, you know you couldn't live with yourself if something bad happened to the people of this town. You put on like you're all cold, but I see through you. You're gonna do the right thing, and you're gonna do it because it's right.
Oh, very well, Emmeline. I will accompany you all again. Let's just do this, but silently. I guess I have to go into stealth mode again. I really don't want to do this.
Does our path without a trace still? Is it still?
It's good for an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Let's
Yeah.
sneak away.
Those powders are very sticky.
Add 10 to your stealth, and you do not have disadvantage on this, obviously, because you cannot be heard.
Woo.
Right.
Removes disadvantage, if I remember correctly. And if it doesn't, I'm cool with letting it remove disadvantage. I think when you start throwing magic at your armor to not make noise,
you can take off the disadvantage.
You can take off the disadvantage.
Nice. Then I get a 21.
Nice. Okay. I should do this the Forbidden Lands way and have the lowest stealth check make the roll for the group.
It's the saddest thing about that system.
I love that. I love it.
I know you do. It's all right. We're all wrong about something.
All right.
So we add 10, right?
Yeah, add 10 to the roll.
27.
Okay. Emmeline?
That's an 18.
Okay. You all very quietly. First of all, as you leave him there. You've managed to calm him enough that as you all leave and he hears you leaving, he puts down the water skin and he just slips down the side of the rock that he's sitting on and just hunkers down low and tries to look as much like a giant piece of debris as he possibly can. He just gets real still. He's been practicing for the past couple of days, apparently. As you approach this debris field that's laying scattered out in front of the cave, you can see the carnage. I'm going to need everyone to make a charisma check. The difficulty is 10. This is a saving throw.
Nope. 6.
I got
6.
a 7.
7. Awesome.
13.
Okay. So Evelyn, you managed to keep it together. Let me roll real quick. Okay.
Nothing good ever came from a charisma save.
Okay.
Agreed.
Thankfully, you're not in combat, so this isn't going to affect you in a meaningful way. This is mostly just a few. Actually, I have to roll to see how many minutes it affects you. Oh, only 1. Very lucky. Anita, you are just stunned. You gain the stunned condition immediately. You freeze in place when you spot it. I am rolling on the madness effects table in the Dungeon Master's Guide right now. Glor McGill, you become incapacitated as you spot what you see. You literally just stop and sink down to your knees staring ahead. The scene of carnage is one of mutilation and destruction of some of the most horrific states you could think to find humanoid bodies. One that I don't necessarily need to go into description on. Suffice to say that there are possibly 6 or more corpses in this cave in various states of abominable states. There are just complete chaos in here. Things that have been done to bodies. It looks like a butcher ran through here and shredded people, tore them apart, removed bones. It is a chaotic state. You do see that inside it looks like that this was probably some kind of encampment. It looks like there might have been a place where they were holding up. You can see chests, treasure chests. You can see chairs, lots of like caskets, possibly places where they were storing alcohol. You can see that there was a fire probably going a few days ago because it looks like food has been overturned. Most of it probably been taken by the gulls, but you can see remains of like food that had been left out. What you're getting just from looking at this is that a scene of people that were probably in the middle of having a drink and cooking dinner when this, whatever happened. Anita, you're looking at people that have been incised. You're looking at like people in states that you were warned perhaps maybe one day that if you were foolish enough to go on an adventure that you might see things like this. You've never seen it until now. And it literally causes you to freeze in place and just, it takes you both a full minute before you finally manage to get the shaking in your hands to stop and to get your heart to come back down. But Sir Glor McGill, underneath the helm that no one can see, you are sniffling from this weeping, which is a side effect of the incapacitation. It's either screaming, laughing, or weeping. You are just, this is just an abominable scene to see.
Any second thoughts?
I think it's too late now. We best press on.
Everyone make a perception check.
14.
Come
14.
on, D&D Beyond. Come on. Yes!
18 plus.
Just 18.
18? Okay.
23.
Okay, you were all aware as you... Should we move on now? You hear echoing off of one of the cave walls not far away. It almost sounds like a groan of pain.
I guess I'll go and see what this is then. And Anita, she just transforms from this like graceful, nose upturned into this professional, just stealthy assassin. She's getting herself dirty as she stealths her way over to this sound to see what it is.
Okay, go ahead and make your stealth check.
Okay.
And
That girl has depths.
Don't forget to add 10.
Plus 10. Okay, let's see what. Oh, well, I rolled an 8, so plus 10 is 18.
Okay. How much?
18 total.
And you add 10? Or is that?
Yeah,
That's
I got an 8 originally, so yep, of course. She's really pissed that her new shirt just got some mud and blood and guts on it. She's just
This creature has a 0 to its perception. And I rolled a 19.
Wow. Well,
so
that's why we play the game. That's why we roll the dice.
That's why we roll.
All right.
Anything can happen. This is a one-off.
Anita, you dash across a couple of the rocks, laying low, and move over into an area where there's a lot of outcroppings and bush. A lot of this stuff is frozen from the snow, so some of the grass is being weighed down, and you're beginning to realize as you're stealthing through it that you're counting on this to behave the way normal cover does. But you're beginning to realize as you're sneaking through that it's actually opening you up in challenging ways that you didn't anticipate. You're passing through these openings and splits in some of the tall grass here on the beach that is being weighed down from frost and ice for the past couple of days of snow. And it's how the thing spots you. And at first you don't know what it is you're looking at. But as you move over the top of a sand dune, you pause, and for a split second, for that precious moment before you realize what's happened, you think you are looking at what maybe like a masthead. Your mind is trying to rationalize the size of the humanoid creature that you're seeing. Your mind immediately goes to a place of like, oh, well, maybe a ship broke up on shore and this is the masthead just kind of like standing up on the beach. It's one of those tricky dreamlike moments because the horror that you start to experience upon spotting this thing, almost instinctively, your mind is rejecting what you're actually seeing. This creature stands at about 11 feet and it's completely naked. It looks like it is a patchwork of skin and body parts cobbled together, jammed together, almost like somebody took all of the parts of multiple human bodies and put them into a single thing in a very chaotic way. There is dried blood, bruising, red marks all over this bloated face. You can see clearly the face of the Lord that was described to you. Out of character, you are looking at a flesh golem. A monstrosity. This thing is technically it is a medium construct, so it is large, but you see this thing as kind of spots you immediately. It's unclear for that brief moment if this thing has spotted you or not, because its eyes don't look like it's registering what it's seeing you. You see the blood from its previous days of activity up to its elbows, still dried across that leathery skin, and it reacts the moment it faces you and goes, leans forward, its girth propelling it towards you. Roll initiative. Everybody roll initiative.
Yes. Okay, I got 21.
21?
I also got 21.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Yeah,
Dirty
my
20.
first.
Wow, I'm the loser here. I rolled a 19 and I'm like, well, nope, never mind.
You got a dirty
Okay.
20. That's the best kind of 20, though.
My dex
Yeah.
is
I'm rolling
14.
today.
What about you? Anita?
You're what?
My dex is 14. What about you, Anita?
Oh, mine's 16.
So you would go before me on if we both got the same score.
Okay, all right. Well, I want my first action to be I want to dash back towards
Gonna
the
get
group.
the duck out of Fudge?
Yes, duck out of Fudge.
All right. You use your action to dash, basically. All right. That is definitely going to, let's see, let me check its movement rate real quick. No, you dashing will definitely, so you, I'm trying to picture all the great moments. Like, I'm just picturing that Indiana Jones moment of like, go, go, go. It's like running back. You guys see Anita tearing towards you all. It's very similar to how you saw this wounded sailor running towards you, except for a little more, less flailing and more focused. She's just running towards you guys. I'm assuming shouting a warning.
Yes, also just creature monster, but she doesn't want to be too loud, but also the thing saw her, so she's just kind of freaking out, like kind of speechless, like monstrosity.
Okay. All right. That's your action. You're going to make it all the way back. Let's see. You're dashing, so you're moving double your movement rates. You were going to make it... honestly, since we're doing Theater of the Mind, you're close enough to get back to them that I wouldn't mind saying you rejoin the group. It's close enough that I wouldn't want to mess with it. But yes, we'll say that you at full dash as you tear across the sand, these puffs of sand leaving behind it, you're in the wake as you're running across the sand. You manage to get back. Sir Glormiguel, you're up next. This creature is still out there, but you can hear the bellow of rage and a lust for violence. The way it registers for all of you is that it is this sort of deep baritone bellow.
With a bonus action, I would like to cast Shield of Faith.
Okay, describe it.
And I very quickly and privately look into my shield, which on this side actually has a smaller symbol of Torm, so I can always see him no matter where I go. And he quietly does a quick prayer that he always says before casting Shield of Faith, and hoping that in this cave, in the depths of this strange land, that Torm can still hear him.
Okay. Go ahead and let's see. That's going to be your bonus action. What are you doing for a full action? You just going to hold?
Yeah. For a full action, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move 10. I'm just going to move 10 feet towards the curve of the cave, ahead of my two companions, and then hold my attack to see if it comes around the corner. Could I do that?
Yeah. Okay. Totally. All right. Emmeline?
Emmeline also moves up. They're not the biggest person. I think it's very possible that Anita, though slimmer, might actually be taller than Emmeline by a few inches. So the body blocking is certainly not efficacious. But from a certain sense of protectiveness, moves in front of our fleeing roguish friend and is fishing and fishing and fishing in their satchel until there it is. Pulls out a jar that looks like a glass blown firefly, and there is a little bit of violet glow in it, and they bite down on it and throw it toward the flush golem.
All right.
To cast Fairy Fire.
Nice. Okay.
And as they do that, as soon as they have yoked it, they shrug their shoulders back a little, look over their shoulder back out at the moon, and look forth and and will wild shape into a brown bear to be a protective Pippa bear to Anita.
The shape change, those of you who have known Emmeline as a druid of the Circle of the Moon, you have all, at least from where you were from originally, have heard of or been around stuff like this before. However, here in the domain of dread, it takes a different look, a different feel, different appearance. Where you might normally see a healthy brown bear out in the wild, instead what you see is this hulking, wiry-haired, almost like gaunt bear with these huge jagged jaws and gleaming yellow eyes begin to form right in front of you as the domain of dread imparts its particular flavor upon the sorcery and the magic that is happening here, even in a natural state. You just see this horrific looking bear form right in front of all of you, just as fairy light just goes scattering across the beach and all over this creature as it's charging forward. Before we advance to the next round, real quick, as it's moving forward, I'm gonna have Emmeline, and I'm gonna have, and actually all of you can make either an Arcana check. Actually, this would be an Arcana check.
Okay.
And the difficulty is not going to be low.
Flesh Golem does get a dex save against Fairy Fire, I believe.
Okay.
Let me get my spell DC for you.
I've rolled a 2.
I got 19.
And it's a negative.
Does not
has
save
a negative. It has a 9 dex, so I rolled a 1, so it fails.
Good to know. Then yes, it is lit.
It is lit up. There is a glowing, angry blob of flesh that is wanting to rip you all apart, charging towards
lit in here.
Yeah. So go ahead and make your Arcana check and tell me what you get.
13 for me.
19 for me.
No, okay. Emmeline, what'd you get?
That's a big 11.
Okay. Curiously enough, Anita, you spot somebody looking back over your shoulder as this thing starts to glow. The first thing you notice is this flesh golem does not look like it's complete. It looks like some of the stitches are loose on it. It looks like it was cobbled together rather quickly. You can tell by the way it's running that it almost looks like it's on the verge of falling apart. You can also tell that whatever battle it was in earlier, it may have taken some burns because you can see some of the flesh has been charred and scarred from what looks like fire. Something to keep in mind.
Anita actually relays this info to Emmeline and Glormagil. Like, this thing is not completed. It's tearing apart at the seams. If you can look closely, maybe take advantage of that. And she looks over at them, transformed into the bear, hoping that she or that they understand her.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's gonna be its action. It's gonna come charging forward.
Could I reach it then with my health?
Honestly, in order to even reach you guys, it has to use its full action to dash. So it's gonna get there to y'all at the end of the round. It comes charging right up in front of you, Sir Glormagil, and you get to go now.
Okay, great. I will take a swing at it with my sword.
Take a swing.
Ooh, and I got a 25.
That definitely
I rolled
hits.
the 19. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. 11 points of damage.
Your blade connects with the skin on this thing. It tears into the leathery skin, and as not surprised, it doesn't seem to take a particular notice to it as its girth continues to move forwards to you. Although, because Anita made that Arcana check, Anita, for whatever reason in your travels, with that Arcana check, you've heard tales, legends of constructs like this. Maybe not necessarily flesh golems, but you know that creatures that are built like this typically are only harmed by magical weapons, of which none of you have. However, it would appear that Sir Glormagil's sword did in fact injure it just now.
Oh, but Glormagil, that your blade, the magic. Okay, it's all coming back to me. That university days are finally worth it. That magic will hurt this monstrosity. So you, and then she turns to them as bear monster creature. Magic is better. Sorry, but tear away at it as well.
All right, it's the top of the round, so Anita, it's your turn.
Eric, technically I had
Sorry, I thought you meant Evelyn. Okay, well, so
Did you have something up, Jason?
Yeah, technically I had a longsword +1 on my character sheet, but I didn't clear that with you because this is a character from another adventure.
Oh, that's fine.
Um,
I'm cool with it. Don't
okay.
sweat it. Yeah. If it was from another adventure, I mean, you did get pulled into the mist. It's not like the mist checked your baggage at the door. Like, hold on, man.
Yeah. So technically, I do have a
take that through customs. If you're coming into Ravenloft, you got to leave the sword behind. Nope, that's cool. All right.
Okay. Well, I'm close enough to reach it with my rapier, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well,
yeah. At this point, it's up. Yeah, it's up in Sir Glormagill's face right now.
Yeah, I'm going to whip out my rapier and just start hacking away at this flesh golem.
All right.
And let's see if it hits. Oh, of course. Of course. I got a 2 + 5. 7 to hit.
7 to hit? That's not going to hit.
Nope. Of course not. All right. Well, there's my attack.
The rapier does make contact and sinks into the golem's flesh. Whether or not that did anything is not apparent, as this creature seems intent on killing Sir Glormagill. It completely ignores the attack, but you feel it cutting into the fatty tissue in the bone. And as it pulls out, you can see the congealed, rotted blood that's on the end of the sword. The golem doesn't react.
All right. Well,
remember, you guys do have rerolls. You got 2 fate points.
You know what? Not yet.
You're a rogue, aren't you?
I am. It's been a while since I've played as a rogue. Bonus actions and so 2-weapon fighting.
Advantage. I hit it with fairy fire.
Oh, that's right. You had advantage.
Oh,
so
I do.
That's what fairy fire is.
Roll another d20.
Okay. All right.
Roll another d20. It also means you can get sneak attack.
Should have done that. I'm a little rusty on the rogues.
Don't sweat it.
It's been maybe over a year.
Yep. Don't sweat it.
Sweet. Okay, 19 to hit again.
Okay, that definitely hits. So roll your damage, and don't forget you get sneak attack damage on this because you had advantage on the attack.
Oh my god. Okay, here we go. So the sneak attack damage was 2d6. Thank goodness. Okay. So 5 plus, okay, so 6. So 7 plus 6, 13 damage.
13 points of damage? Okay.
They say diamonds are a girl's best friend, but fairy fire is certainly a rogue's.
Yes.
All right. That's going to be your round. Let's modify the descriptor. When you pull the blade back out, it seems like the golem didn't notice you had stabbed it until the blade is removed. And then, like any stabbing victim, holy shit, yeah, I've been stabbed. You see it kind of react, just it immediately kind of stumbles forward a little bit from the sheer blow to its side. That's going to be Sir Glormagill's turn now.
Very well. I take another big swing.
Okay.
And I'm going to use a fate point because I rolled a 2. And we need to kill this thing.
Use them fate points. The audience
this
is
is
kind
the one
enough
that
to give you guys
counts.
fate points.
This is the one that counts. Oh, you.
Keep in mind, you have advantage. He's fairy fired.
Oh, I do have advantage. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the fairy fire.
Much better. Thank you so much. I get a 24.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that hits.
Great. Yeah. Unfortunately, I only hit him for 5 points of damage. I rolled low on my damage.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you put heft into that swing, and when you impact on the flesh, it hits a big chunk of fatty tissue that doesn't necessarily belong on that part of the body. It like lumps outward and almost functions sort of like a carapace of armor. The blade bites into it, and as you drag it back out, you can hear that terrible tearing sound. But the golem doesn't seem particularly injured by that attack. All right, so next up is Emmeline. Emmeline, the sailor that's hiding behind the rock is clearly aware that the creature has returned and has gone completely catatonic. He is gripping the side of his head, his eyes, such as they are, wide, and he's just going. He's not moving. He's not doing anything.
Fair. I don't necessarily know what Anita knows. And interestingly, as far as I can tell, there's no way for druid wild shapes to like do magic damage anywhere up the line, which is surprising to me, but here we are. But if the seams are loose, as she pointed out, it's harder to do damage if you don't have the arms. So Emmeline Bear is going to try to disarm their opponent.
Okay. Go ahead and make your attack then.
All right. For the crunch, that is a 22 to hit.
That definitely hits.
That's my bite attack. So that's for 10 points of crunch damage. I think a bite is piercing, but
okay, so. All right. Ooh. Yes. A normal golem, you guys would be having to use magical attacks against this thing, or it would just be completely immune to the damage. However, you guys are seeing a clear impact on this creature. It looks like it was hastily constructed. You're getting the impression that this was not a complete work of art. It is being motivated, but on its turn, it finally gets to attack. But first, I have to. What's up?
Bear does get multi-attack.
Oh, go ahead. Do your thing.
So now I have claw swipe.
Okay. Do your claw swipe.
That's a 22 again.
That'll definitely hit.
And for 11 more points.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. You're getting decayed flesh that has been a patchwork of multiple people caught on your claws and teeth. You're doing your best not to get that taste in your mouth, but if you didn't just taste what must be weeks to months old congealed blood packed into the back of your mouth like a bowl full of warm Jell-O, All right. Its turn. It is going to open up. First of all, I have to roll a d6 to find out if it goes berserk. I roll a 4. It does not go berserk, but it does get multi-attack, and it's going to attack both Emmeline and Sir Glormagil. The first attack is leveled against Sir Glormagil, and it rolls a total of 16. Does that hit you?
No.
All right. In that case, it's going to redirect its second attack to you.
Okay.
And I roll a 22.
That actually still doesn't hit because of my my shield spell.
No kidding. Oh yeah, you threw up your shield spell?
Yeah, or the spell that I cast. The Shield of Faith. Yeah, that actually makes my armor class 23.
23.
Because my defense paladin. And no, it's nice.
Okay, so what you all witness is this thing kind of swing its giant arms down, slamming it into your shield, and just in pure rage slams it again. Just starts hammering and hammering down on top of you. The strength of this thing is incredible, but it does not break your defenses. And now we're at the top of the round again. Anita.
All right, I'm going to just, as it's just smashing into Glorgamil's shield, once again go for another sneak attack with the rapier. So.
Okay.
And does the fate? What was it? The
Fairy
fire?
fire?
Does that still? Is it still? Oh,
yes. Because the beautiful part about that is Sam was able to cast that when the thing was not within range of you guys, so it was the only one affected by the fairy fire.
Perfect.
Yep.
Well, I'm pretty sure I missed again. So that was like a reroll, right? Basically, or what was it?
A fate point is a reroll, but if and we just spent one, so we got one left. Rolling with advantage right now.
Oh, with advantage. Duh. Okay, that's what it was. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's what's keeping you
double
back
checking
there.
my brain is mush after this day. Oh my god. Okay. Cool. Sweet. So wow, 20 to hit.
That definitely hits.
Sweet.
So
All right.
Go ahead and roll your damage, and then roll your sneak attack damage on top of that.
All right.
Oof, so much damage.
Oh, let's see. So 8 plus do the sneak attack. I'm trying to do it all through D&D Beyond. Sometimes it's a bit slow, and then it like overlays over all my like actions and stuff, and I'm just like, oh, I'm trying to make this fast.
It does show me what you're rolling though. So.
Oh, sweet. So you see, okay, so it was like 4 plus. Oh crap! I have to go back. 4 plus 8, 12.
Okay. 12 points. Let me write that in.
She just lunges right again, just in what she thinks is its blind spot.
This thing is taking a tremendous amount of punishment. The stabs that you've delivered with this rapier are so expertly done that when you withdraw the blade, you're not even sure there would be enough blood coming out of the stab wounds. But you're sure that you are damaging it now, because every time you sink that rapier blade in, it is scraping against something hard inside, probably bone. And it does react. That is your rounds. So, Sir Glormagill, you're up.
All right. I would probably, at this point, I'm just going to keep hacking away because he's got one spell, but with the whole magic thing that he's discovered, he would rather just keep swinging.
Yeah, do the thing. You're holding the line right now. You've got advantage. Don't forget.
Excellent. 24.
That hits.
For 11 points of damage.
11 points. Okay. The sword once again impacts on the side of this thing. It's attacking a mountain of flesh. Sometimes you think you're hurting it. Sometimes it's hard to tell because it does not slow down. It's not behaving like a normal opponent. But as you hear the squeaking sound as you pull the sword free from across the skin, and the thing is still hammering away on your shield, screaming and bellowing in your face. Emmeline, you are up.
Somebody stop this thing.
Hey, stop it. Knock it off. Don't do that.
Emmeline Bear is going to try to stop this thing.
Y'all are stabbing
for the nice, shiny Smite Knight's recommendation.
Okay.
This thing is unbearable.
All right, I'm going to claw my way back from that one.
Don't unleash Sam. Please don't unleash Sam on us.
Nat 20.
Nat 20.
As I declared it as a pun, so I assume it's the claw attack.
Yeah, okay, there's the first critical hit of the evening.
Oh, okay. Hey. All right, 10 plus 6 plus 4, I believe that's 20.
20 points of damage?
Yeah. And then I'll bite.
Yeah, do your bite.
That's 18 to hit.
18? Yeah, that hits.
Sweet. For a cool, if anticlimactic, 5 additional damage.
Okay. Chunks of skin and flesh are now coming loose. The stitching is starting to break away from the traumatic injuries that it is taking from blades, stabs, and tears. The bear is just going wild on this thing. The rapier making these expert precision surgical strikes again and again and again into the hide of the flesh column. It's not able to withstand the firepower of 3 of you up in its face tearing at it. Its action, it whirls in rage on you, Emmeline. And I have to roll to see if it goes berserk. It does not. It is going to multi-attack on Emmeline, though. First attack is a 24.
Versus AC 11, so you are going to hit very consistently.
Okay, so the first one hits with a 24. The second one is definitely going to hit with a 21.
Okay, then I will make 2 concentration checks at 12 and 10 DC respectively.
Okay.
For the Fairy Fire. First one is a 12, which is exactly what I needed.
Okay.
And second one has to be a 10. And it's 13. All right, we're good on the Fairy Fire. We continue to give advantage to our rogue friends. And our paladin, just all of our friends. Good. No.
Emmeline,
No.
you take 21 points of damage as the flesh column whirls on you, and the elbow clips you right across your bare face. It's enough to snap you out of like the rage that you're experiencing tearing into this thing. You had that sense that you were winning until that elbow kind of like sobers you for a second. It's like that moment when you kind of get hit in the face by accident and you're stunned looking at this thing. The follow-up attack is this huge arm crashing down onto the back of your neck. You feel the sheer power of this creature with a strength of 19. It is beating down on you with an incredible sheer violent force. You can only imagine what those poor sailors went through when it got its hands on them.
That was a total of how much?
That was 21 points of damage.
All right, I'm still a bear.
Okay. Y'all can all hear the slapping heavy thuds of the skin impacting on the thick hide of the bear. Evelyn took some punishment just now. It is Anita's turn.
Okay.
Wait, I thought you said it was 24 and then 21, because that will drop me if it's all of that together.
What's that? No, that was the roll to hit.
Oh, those were the to hit. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes.
The
continue.
damage roll was
Anita.
10 and 11. So, yeah.
Anita, go do murders.
All right.
Thank you.
Murder time. I just once again just goes
keep
at this
stabbing.
thing.
Yeah.
Just keep stabbing. Just keep stabbing. So rolling for the rapier one more time. Let's see. Oh, but I also with advantage. So let's.
It still has advantage. To their credit, Emmeline was able to keep their concentration. 24 to hit.
Oh my god! I'm trying to roll again. Oh god! I just don't know how to navigate this website. Like I love it, but
If you right click on your stats, it'll give you the option of rolling with advantage.
oh, I should have just right clicked on there. Oh,
It's okay.
there. Oh,
I
it's
had to
right
figure it
there.
out
Okay.
myself. So 24
That's
to
why
hit.
sometimes I'll use like my actual dice. Okay. Cool.
All right, cool.
Okay, I'll just roll twice. So let's see. I think I'll go with the 24 to hit.
I think so.
Yeah.
All right, you're getting your backstab damage again. Go ahead and
All
make your
right.
roll.
So here we go. These little dice are so slow, but it's okay. So adding the sneak attack as well, technically.
Mm-hmm.
So for a total of, I think it's still, I should just roll 2d6. Nope, there we go. Just goes away at this thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 18 total damage.
All right.
Zorro style.
18.
Anita basically is pulling like the Roman Senate on Julius Caesar right now. You kind of just keep lunging with the rapier again and again and again. Every time this flesh golem is distracted by the punishment it's getting from Emmeline or Sir Glormigel, behind it is Anita surgically striking in every spot you can see. You're trying to remember what you know about the anatomy of the body, hoping that this creature follows some kind of semblance of that logic, going for where you know the spleen would be. Where would the spine be located? All of these things you've learned in your training, and it pays off. That last stab, you feel it scrape against what must have been the spinal column, because the golem freezes up for a second and its arms drop and it goes, and it turns and looks at you, and you see the face of the Lord, the man you saw in the paintings when you entered the estate. There is no sign that he is there at all. This face just kind of twists and looks at you. As it opens its mouth, you can see pieces of what must have been some of the sailors still dangling between the great rotting teeth, and it pitches forward, crashing its head on one of the rocks and smashing its skull open as it drops dead. Gore erupts out all over to the beach and spills into the sand.
Oh.
And the beach goes quiet. And then the stench hits.
Yeah. Well, at least now. Lord,
Con
help
save.
me.
Oh.
Con save from everyone.
Oh,
Yeah. That makes sense.
Jeez. All right.
Oh, perfect. Well, I guess I got a 21.
Guess what I got?
What'd you got?
Natural 1.
Okay. How'd you do, Emmeline?
Ever fail a con save so hard you're not a bear anymore?
Emmeline, you don't have a sense of smell, and yet the thick putrescence emanating from this now exposed bag of gore is enough to trigger a gag reflex inside you. You weren't aware it was there, and before you know it, you and Sir Glormigel lose your lunch in the sand. You are stunned for a round as the two of you.
I'm glad I ate that chicken leg earlier. Ugh.
It is a sight of pure horror that none of you are going to be able to forget. The inside of the cave, the death of this flesh golem, the whimpering screams of the man on the beach. You're all able to carry yourselves quite well through your adventuring career, but never in your time in this strange, dark realm have you come across anything like this.
I want to fight my way forward past this reaction because I have to do it. Just a moment. And over the flesh golem's body, where I see a bit of Helmfried, I want to druid craft. Just draw up from maybe the little thread some flowers. He said he wanted that.
Despite the sincerity and beauty of the intention, Emmeline, it is a horrible, stark reminder that as you feel that sort of kernel of light inside of you summoning forth this little flower, here in the domain of dread, you watch it form on the face of this flesh golem and immediately wilt.
Death is part of life. It'll feed some flower someday. I hope.
The lot of you manage to gather yourselves together. You make your way back to the sailor, who is still weeping. But when he feels the warmth of human touch on his skin, he reacts with hope, grabbing your arm. Is it gone? Is it dead? He immediately starts to cry into your shoulder.
He's gone.
You don't know what it is the three of you uncovered here. You were sent here to investigate a murder for a quick payday. But you know now, there's something greater going on, something far more sinister. And just before we leave our heroes here, on the beach cradling this poor man, the three of you trying to understand how it is you're going to be able to sleep tonight. Perhaps one of you who managed to look around and take stock of what happens, perhaps one of you may have seen the stony figure off in the distance, a creature looking down upon all of you, observing you, having slain yet another one of his father's creations, an abomination, an attempt to recreate him, the Dark Lord of this domain. A flash of lightning later, and no one is there. And that will conclude our game.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
Eric, that was so creepy, but also thank you.
Thanks, Eric. That was awesome.
So fun. That was it was so demented and dark and
I feel bad because before we started this game, I was like, no magic items. I'm going to keep this pretty simple. But then when I loaded this is give you behind the scenes of a DM screen. I pulled up the flesh golem stats and I'm like, all right, let's get into it. Cannot be harmed unless with magical weapons. Whoops.
And by the time we find that out, I can't use shillelagh anymore. I'm a bear.
Well, so here's how I compromised, though. I gave it resistance to all physical attacks. So you guys were only doing half damage that whole time. You laid out tons of damage on this thing. Yeah. Congratulations. This was a challenge 5 monster. It should have been able to pretzel all of you. But that was skilled spell use, excellent use of tanking the crap out of it and critical hitting it over and over with sneak attack. Y'all functioned like a well-oiled machine. Mwah. You dropped a flesh golem. That creature was above all of you. Easily. That was a deadly encounter, and you guys aced it. Well done. Nicely played.
And nicely played. Thanks for not changing a thing when we found out kind of last minute that there's only going to be 3 of us.
I should have known y'all were going to be able to handle it.
And by the way, thank you. Pixel Circus just raided us like 5 minutes ago.
Hey, thank you.
So I want to say thank you to them.
Oh, Vince.
Our lovely friends. So many of our friends there.
Real quick, before I hand things off to Jason for the sign off, I just want to thank Luke and Matt and you, Jason. Thank you guys for letting me run a game on this channel. It has been so long since I've run D&D, and it took me a while to get back into the groove, but damn, it felt good to run some Ravenloft again. Wow. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thanks for doing it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. We kind of knew a few weeks ago that this week was going to be hard because we had at least 2 of our cast members that couldn't make it. So if you're new to the channel, our regular campaign will be back next Saturday at 5 for the Gaxx pack with Abria Iyengar, Adriosa right here, Eric right here, B. Dave Walters, and Vivid Vivka. And huge thank you to Sam DeLev for popping in today and
thank you,
making
Sam.
it a wonderful time for all.
You were so lovely.
Thank you for letting me sneak attack the Gaxx pack.
Very fire on
Anytime.
the boss for the rogue. Nicely done. Sam knows what they're doing.
Yeah. So we'll be back. And then the next thing that happens on this channel is Tuesday night. Whose monster is it anyway?
Nice.
And basically, Adriana, you were on the show last week, so kind of explain to the viewers what that show's like.
Oh, that show was so fun. It was right up my alley to be a guest on there. So basically, everybody, we all just discuss a monster, and the chat can interact as well, and kind of like set the stats for it, basically, like how large of it is it gonna be, like what kind, are there gonna be tentacles, are there gonna be what, and then the artist, he draws it as we all explain it, and it was so fun and just great. So if you want, please stop by on Tuesdays. I don't know who the next guest is gonna be, but it was a blast. So
Keith Baker's the artist, right, Matt?
No, Phil.
The artist?
Wasn't it Phil?
Yeah.
Oh, it was Keith. I'm sorry.
He was great. It's funny. What I love about our show, the Gaxx Pack, is like most of our players are also DMs. So it's a little intimidating for me being the DM, but then I can always ask somebody a rule question, and I know it's going to be answered just like that too. So I've got no issues asking rule questions when I need to know. But thank you to our sponsor. Are we out already? Looks like
we just rated somebody. Oops.
We rated somebody.
Oh, okay. I guess.
Oh no.
Great. Someone rated us early.
Sorry, sponsor, but thank you.
We got cut off a tiny bit early.
That's fine.
But for those of you who stuck around, thank you.
Yeah. Well, I think they're gone.
You can't see us, but you can feel